Welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast.
You have to know history, you have to know wrestlers, you have to know matches.
My belly's just a little big, my hand is just a little big, but brother, I am bad and they know I'm bad.
There is no revolution.
You are truly the future of Lucha Underground.
I got it. How about a little heel turn?
And if they piss somebody, if they took somebody off here, well then, there goes their career.
Well, don't piss anybody off.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Let's Talk Wrestling podcast. The wrestling podcast where we review every segment of Monday Night Raw and give you guys the wrestling news of the week. Oh yeah, did it the other way round because that's how I do things. And it's not really opposite day, but fuck it. Let's just do it anyway. Because I've already messed up this intro twice, so I'm not doing it again. Yeah, you guys don't even know. Yeah. My name, of course, the man who seems a little bit tongue-tied going into this episode is Turbo Tony. I will try my best. And I'm also here with the man, of course, who is my partner in crime. Couldn't do this without him every single week. And he is a man who's embarking on a national hunt to make sure all the amazing musicians and actors we love stay the fuck alive. It is Matt Marsander.
It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
To be honest, I would like to join you on your escapade because I don't think we can handle much more.
I think it's a worthy cause.
Yeah. If you guys obviously don't know, we talk about it. Alan Rickman died over the course of this week, and for Harry Potter, I'm a big Harry Potter fan, and well, just not even Harry Potter. Just come on, Die Hard, people, Die Hard. Hans Gruber, anyone?
It's the worst part is like all of my sisters, both my sisters are just all like, he was in Love Actually. It's like, and
yeah, but he was awesome in that as well. He was just an awesome guy. So that means over the course of 3 weeks, Matt, we've lost Lemmy, David Bowie, and Alan Rickman. Yeah. This year fucking sucks. Just gonna put that out there. All right.
I know we've had a mate recently going, but I've had my son. Like, baby does not constitute legends. Okay,
this is what he has to do, because also we lost Roddy Piper and Dusty Rhodes quite recently as well. So his son will have to become an awesome professional wrestler, an award-winning actor that steals the hearts of children across the globe, and he'll also have to become a musical icon to the lengths of Lemmy and obviously David Bowie. So as long as that can be accomplished, then maybe everything can be okay, but that's asking quite a lot right there. But who knows? It might be like that kid out of Futurama that had the lucky, 8 cleaved lover or whatever. We went on one hell of a tangent, Matt. I haven't even asked you how the fuck you are.
It's a fair old tangent indeed. Yeah, no, I've been good.
Everyone knows that the first 10 minutes of our show is just us rambling about random nonsense. We've got over 100 minutes of wrestling talk after it, so they're all fine. They all know it's all good, That's the way it is.
They know what's coming. That's fine.
That's cool. Well, I'll tell you what, let's tell them what's coming, Matt. We have got some news, not a lot, definitely not as much as last week, but we got some news for you there this week. Got plenty of fan feedback, including myself and Matt drafting against each other with our Survivor Series, and I get the feeling I'm going to win this one, Matt. I just get the feeling.
Okay.
I have looked through the statistics. I have looked through the characters. I am the man when it comes to this.
You are ready.
I am ready and primed. And also, of course, we've got NXT Report Card, which returns this week, and our Raw review, which we won't rush through like we had to last week because we spent over an hour talking about the news. Just anyone thinking about it there. No further news about Styles and Nakamura and anything along those lines, but a lot of people are saying that Styles may end up showing up at the Royal Rumble, all these cool stuff, but we went through all that last week in regards to that. Now, Matt, if they want to get hold of us through the Twitter, what would be that Twitter handle?
Of at Talk Wrestle Pod.
That is the handle. The handle of gods, some may say. And also, of course, the legendary Facebook page, facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. Go there, like it, talk to us, become part of the debate where we talk amongst ourselves every so often about the wrestling and other stuff like Broforce, the video game, which is awesome. Just gonna put that out there. Wasn't even paid to say that, but it just is. So there you are. Enough procrastination, Matt. Is there anything you would like to procrastinate about, actually? Anything at all?
I have no procrastinations.
You bring no procrastination to this podcast?
No.
Well, I think you're slipping up on us there, Matt. I don't think... You next time bring plenty of procrastinations, okay? Yeah. Yeah. Do you feel sad now? Do you?
No.
Oh, well.
I'm sure I'll manage.
I'm sure one of us cares about the podcast, Matt, and all the random nonsense we talk about.
To procrastinate.
Yeah. You were just busy there watching all the wrestling you had to. Then it's me looking up random shit on the internet. Oh, yeah?
All them crazy facts.
Yeah, of course. I guess we better get to the wrestling then, Matt. I guess that might have
Let's
to be.
do it.
Now, before we get to the news, this is part of the news. This is actually in my notes, but it's something that myself and Matt have been talking about over the last couple of weeks. And that is missing content. And people might be going, well, where are you going with this here? Matt, I don't know if you realise this. I went back on the network to watch Cheap Pops. Yeah?
Okay.
You know, the really cool 1 hour stand-up comedy
good
special
choice.
with Mick Foley. Something quite unique to the network, and everyone seemed to enjoy it when it first came out.
Yeah.
Did you know it's not there anymore?
I did not.
Yeah, it's been removed. Don't know why. Don't know when. Just removed. Got no clue. Just don't know why it's there. And in other terms of missing content outside of WWE, Lucha Underground have blocked off their content on their YouTube channel, the El Rey YouTube channel, to people outside the country.
Yeah.
This is mind-boggling right now.
Don't remind me. I really wanted to watch Lucha the other day.
Yeah, right. This is very odd, though, Matt. I don't quite understand this. Now, people may be saying, "Well, is that your Lucha Underground reviews just done?" No, it isn't. We're still doing them. But
there are ways.
There are ways and means around it. I mean, we wouldn't be able to get the full episode from the El Rey channel anyway. But yeah, I thought this was very odd. Because normally it's done the other way round, whereas people, like, for instance, South Park will do this. Russell Howard's Good News does this. Because I live in Ireland, Matt, and they have no way of giving me that content on TV, even though they do, but it's because it's done through BBC, right? I get all of the episodes he does the day after it's done, released in full in HD quality through YouTube. Yeah. You can't watch it, Matt, because you're in England, right? But I can, because technically it doesn't have a distributor, even though I can catch it on TV over here. It's kind of awkward. But Lucha Underground have gone the other way, where they've gone, okay, so we've got no rights to air the stuff in outside countries, so we're just going to block it off so no one else can see it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on their YouTube channel now, and it's like they've got their Lucha Underground playlist. There are 40 videos under Season 1, where you've got the Trios Championship ladder match, Puma versus Drago, title versus career, parts 1 and 2 of Puma versus Muertes, Pentagon versus Vampiro. And the worst part is there's the little tags that say I've watched them before.
Yeah, because they were available, Matt, weren't they? I remember watching. I remember sharing those videos to people and saying watch it, and now they can't. Man, this is mind-boggling. I just don't. The only reason that I could think they've done this, which could be good news, is that they've managed to secure an international distributor. In which case, suddenly it makes sense the reason why you can't view those stuff, because they've, one of the parts of the view of them getting international distributor is don't make it so you can view this stuff for free on YouTube, because we're buying the show, right, to air on our, on our time slot. So that might be something that possibly goes down, but if that isn't the case, I've got no clue. I really don't. I don't know what their idea is with this. And obviously it might not. Obviously it's not Lucha Underground. It's probably El Rey. But even then, just don't really understand it. Quite weird. And the Cheap Pops thing, I don't know why that was pulled either. Because, I mean,
that was good.
It's Mick Foley, and he's got plenty of other stuff still up on there. So why the Cheap Pops was done? No clue. If anyone has any insight or knows any reports in regards to this, I'm genuinely interested. I would love to know the reason why these shows are being pulled. So, talk about it there. Anyway, let's talk about the reports over this week. And contrary to those reports, Jim Ross has not signed on to do commentary for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He had to come out and state that. Now, there had been an interview done where someone had basically just gone out and said, yeah, he's with Josh Barnett, and he's going to be doing commentary. He's going to do it. And then Jim Ross had to come out and say, no, I'm
The fuck? No.
Yeah. Well, his exact words were, there's been no deal made, which means that there could have been a deal on the table. There could have been talks going on, but nothing had been confirmed and signed. And with JR coming out and squashing it, if there was talks, it looks like it's not going to be completed, maybe even because this came out in the way it did, possibly, don't know. But I wanted to bring this out because some people are getting very, very excited, and I always get I'm under the thought track, Matt, that JR would be very, very happy not going to commentate pro wrestling anymore. He'd be very happy just...
I think JR would be happy just to go, done.
Yeah. He's got his podcast, Matt, so why? Why would he, in his mind? And he's got his shows that he does, which I wouldn't mind going to. Drink a Pepsi for the working man there. So... yeah, I mean, I thought that was quite odd that was coming out, but yeah, contrary to reports, JR isn't doing commentary for New Japan on a weekly basis, at least. But I tell you what, I'd love it if he did, but still, yeah, like I said, Matt, I just get the feeling that he's just done. He'd just be happy not to, but still.
Yeah, that's it.
This is interesting. I brought this up, Matt. Not so much wrestling news. What it is linked. The UFC game. Coming out soon, UFC 2, or I don't know how they're going to probably do it, because it's an EA game, probably be UFC 2016 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's coming out, and the news had come out that CM Punk was going to be in that game. Fans of MMA were going, okay, well, don't quite like this, but you know what? If they rate him low, then it'll be fine. Right? No, about 70 max. And then they will be okay in the game, because you just don't know. There was a big sprout of, I'll say a little bit of controversy here, because it was revealed that CM Punk is an 85 overall in UFC 2, which means he's going to overrank some of the actual active competitors in the game. Which, as by your reaction, Matt, was as that is a timid reaction. Yeah. I saw MMA fans fucking going ballistic, and it's not so much of they're angry that he's in the game. It's done as a disrespectful nature towards people who actually who
are currently competing.
Yeah, and I'm obviously not as annoyed as MMA fans, but clearly I can understand the reason why they would be annoyed with it, especially in a legitimate sport. It's like someone who from MMA going into boxing and them not having a fight in boxing, and then they say, oh, you know what, so we're going to put him in the new EA Fight Night, and he's ranked 85 when we've got this Joe Bloggs over here who has 30 fights on his plate, and he's like an 80, right? Just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's disrespectful to some of those other people. But I'm sure there's going to be tons of YouTube videos of CM Punk's character getting knocked the fuck out, so I doubt it's too much of an issue there. But talking of CM Punk, a little bit more with UFC, this is just more of a broad thing. It does look like his debut is going to be at UFC 200, and it looks like they're quite close into figuring out who he's going to fight against. I don't know enough about these guys to know whether they're legitimate threats, but I mean, this year, guys, we're going to see CM Punk fight. We're going to see whether or not this guy is legit or not. And, what happens from there. Regardless, he's going to make a shit ton of money, so I very much doubt he cares, really. But still, we've already talked about the whole CM Punk thing. But still, just wanted to bring this up. It is a slow news week, but it was a big thing. He even came out and defended himself via it, but I don't think he kind of understood. Like, I think the one thing that CM Punk has to look at this as that him going into UFC, he's going to piss people off. Like, he's in an elevated position for his name and not his skill, which is not what you should be in a legitimate sport, which is what UFC is. It's a sport, right? So when he says sometimes that, people just don't get it, I think sometimes he doesn't get the reason why people would be upset. And it's not so much that they had to come from a hard background or anything like that. If CM Punk's a better fighter, then he's a better fighter and deserves to be on these slots.
I mean, there's rumours
We
going
just don't
around
know.
that he'll be at 199, not 200.
Mm.
Because, like, 200's, like, a main event sort of card.
It's going to be one or the other, Matt. It's whether or not they just... listen, having CM Punk on 199 might give that show a decent buy rate because most people are just probably going to skip 199 and go to 200. I actually remember, I think Rockhold is one of the champions, and he said, like, I'm scared to death of being booked on 199 because it's going to be a dead show. So, still, maybe that's the case. So yeah, a little bit of UFC talk for you there, but interesting nonetheless. And of course, when he does have that first fight, me and Matt will be talking about it. So when it comes out, it will be interesting. And now a little bit of LTW news to round out our news section here this week. And this is going to our end of year report that we did about 10 days ago, roughly. 10,
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. We got some great feedback from you guys. Really did enjoy it from some of the ideas that we have. There's two big things that we got from you guys coming out of it, which is Let's Talk Wrestling debates is something that you seem to be very interested in. So I think it's something that we're probably going to work on first. I'm probably going to start whipping up graphics and editing it and finding hosts and at very least a host that can do the first episode and see where it goes from there. So LTW debates, yeah, I think that's probably something that will end up happening. And so over the next month, 2 months, don't be shocked if you wake up one morning and suddenly you've got that on your subscriber list. Hopefully you will enjoy it. Be a short video anyway, about 10 minutes, but still. And the other thing as well is that we had a lot of people, Matt, saying to us that they just want that video to stay up on the channel. They don't. I said I was going to delete it off. A lot of people are like, no, just leave it on. If people want it on, I am not going to say anything otherwise. I'll leave it up unless people are very much against it, which I don't know why. The main reason I want to take it down, Matt, is because it's just not one of our regular shows that we do. But people don't have a problem. If people want it up, now who am I to say no, Matt? Who am I to steal that away from them? You know,
well, that's it. It's not a wrestling discussion video. It's all about the channel. But hey, they like to listen. So.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it's about. So it's awesome. And like I said, we got some really good feedback from that, so we're very interested where we go with that. That's all the news this week. It was a slow week. There's obviously a lot of other fluffer stuff that we can talk about, but I only picked the stuff that at very least we can have a minor conversation about, rather than random things like, oh, this person is injured, going to be out for a week, sort of thing. Doesn't really bother us. Not really that interested. Matt, let's get into our fan feedback then. We've got lots of juicy questions for our fan feedback section. And of course, if you guys do want to leave any questions back to us, then the comment section below is a great place to do it. And obviously on our Facebook page as well. And the Twitter.
That's it.
Which all that beautiful details is up there. Now, Matt, first question is an interesting one. I like this question a lot. Although I think that you might not like my answer. But still. Lucas Sahoski says that he'd love to see Kurt Angle come back to WWE to be a mentor to Gable and Jordan and to help them get over with the WWE mainstream fans, their general audience, as I like to call them, right? And then obviously from there on he can go into the Hall of Fame at the same time as boosting younger talent, and he wants to ask us whether or not we think it would help Jordan and Gable. Matt, would you like to answer this first?
I think it would hurt Jordan and Gable.
I agree.
Especially if they were to debut with him. Because then they'll just be the Angles guys.
I think, Matt, if they hadn't already had the world's greatest tag team.
The American Alphas. That's what they're going by now.
I know, but what I'm saying is, the world's greatest tag team already draw a lot of similarities to Jordan and Gable, right?
Yeah.
The fact they've already made jokes referencing...
Oh, sorry, I just thought you were calling like when you went to the world's greatest tag team, it was like, what, you mean Jordan and Gable?
Yeah.
They're the American Alphas now.
Well, you're not far wrong there, Matt, in my eyes, but still. The team known as the world's greatest tag team, not the actual ones. There you go. If Angle hadn't already led them, then definitely this is a no-brainer. Awesome. But the thing is, when Gable and Jordan come up to the main roster, the fans there are automatically going to make the assumption that they are a lot like the world's greatest tag team.
Yeah.
Even more so if you pair them up with an angle. It's almost like the tipping point. That then they're going to be always referred to as those guys, right? Being the new those guys, which we all know, in my opinion, you guys know it. I think Gable and Jordan are better, personally. Maybe I might be biased, but still. I think the only thing that could come out of this that would be good is if Kurt Angle managed Jordan Gable as a singles competitor down the line. That is fine. I don't see any problem with that. But as a team, I'm getting the names wrong now. Gable and Jordan, you need to differentiate them as far away from that.
Anything that has been, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I think it's too much. I do get what you mean, and like I said, I think it's just because he already has that association with Haas and Benjamin as that team, and it's pretty much the bread and butter of it, really. If it hadn't been that way, then yeah, definitely, and that would be fun. I actually think, though, Matt, one of the things as well, I think that Gable and Jordan have got enough charisma that they're not one of these teams that actually needs that extra push. I mean, it's always good to give that to them, but I think they'll be fine without it. They'll obviously be fine. I think one of their gimmicks, Matt, is one of the ones that I think gets over easiest to the general audience because they are fun to watch in the ring.
Well, that's the thing. It's not really a gimmick. That's the thing that's shocking.
That it's just their natural charisma and them bouncing off each other and the way they do things that has gotten them over. That's the sort of stuff that a goofy gimmick can't ruin for you. You know, it's just natural. And I think they should definitely run with that. But and also when Jordan takes down the straps and does go, funny enough, quite Kurt Angle when he goes a bit ballistic.
Oh yeah, a bit suplex happy.
Yeah, that is awesome as well. That's probably one of the best things in wrestling in WWE at the moment, just when he does that. I remember when the Daniel Bryan hot tag was like the greatest thing in the world, where people would get so excited when he was in Team Hell No. It's pretty much like that for like Jordan. People just get. It's like it's now the shit has hit the fan, and Gable's gonna just fucking throw everyone everywhere, and it's fun. So MC Schwabo ends the mystery surrounding his name. I had it right all along, Matt. Did you know that?
I was made aware.
You were made aware. I've been right all this damn time. Oh yes. He also says that he lives in Japan. Which, if that is the case, that's awesome. Cool. I wonder how much wrestling you get to see over there, my friend. Let us know. That would be fun. And he's one of the people that says that we should keep our end-of-the-year report up. So, yeah. I think that's definitely something that we'll be doing. Just want to add that in there because that was quite a funny part of last week of me going, just tell me how to say your damn name! It's not the first time. Matt knows I do this all the time, not even with this show. I just get names wrong.
Just in general.
Just don't know how to say names. Back in a job I had ages ago, you know the name Siobhan, right?
Mm.
It's spelled like
Siobhan.
Yeah, I actually said that instead because I just didn't make the differentiation of what that name was. So there we are. So apparently Siobhan is a name, and I didn't make that thing. I'm just bad at names. So Alex from Wrestling Boom says, what stipulation would we choose for an AJ Styles versus Randy Orton match? A bit random, this one, I thought. Even though the fact we could be seeing Styles and Orton matches down the line, which would be actually a lot of fun. Here's the thing about Styles and Orton, Matt. Both of them are exemplary in-ring talents, right? People may underappreciate how good Randy Orton can be.
Mm-hmm.
So with two people like that, they can perform any sort of match. So it's really, when you're asking about what stipulation would I choose for a match like that, it's just completely 100% depends what storyline you've written for them.
My answer was, what does it matter? Because whatever storyline, obviously, a match type, like a stipulation requires story, but that story always begins with a singles match.
Yeah, I agree. And then obviously,
or just better still, just to let them, if it culminates, they are both solid talents. Just have it as a singles match.
Yeah, The only thing I'd say maybe what you might want to go for, if it's like a big title match or something, is make it 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because you know they can go the length. They're both good enough, and they can fill that time. When you think of people and what matches they could have, obviously it goes down the storyline basic first. You know what makes sense. Like for instance, when I say that, if you're having a blood feud between, let's just say, what we've got at the moment, Kevin Owens and Dean Ambrose, you're not going to have a match that slows the pace down. You wouldn't have, like, for a blood feud, to end a blood feud, you wouldn't just have a regular singles match. You would have it a hardcore match, no DQ match, no holds barred, submission match, something along I Quit match, right? And in the same breath, if you've got a match which is a title match between two competitors that maybe not in a blood feud, but obviously are just going for the championship, who's the best, then making it just instantly a no DQ match off the bat doesn't make much sense. Especially in title matches, Matt, I go with the idea, if it's a title match, it should be as pure as it could possibly be, unless the storyline dictates it should be. Which, as you say, that is a singles match.
Yeah.
Like a singles match to determine who is the wrestling champion of the world. And maybe
Who
then...
is the best.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you have a long-standing rivalry and these two guys hate each other, and it's just the fact that one of them is a champion. I've got no problem with that being a Hell in a Cell match if it gets to that point.
Yeah.
But what WWE, we've got on a tangent, but I'm just going to go with it. I don't know if you noticed this, Matt. WWE has a knack of having a stipulation match first and then doing a singles match afterwards.
That is very true.
Have you noticed that recently?
Yeah. You got...
Which is, doesn't it sound a bit weird? Like, they've done it, I'm not saying it's an epidemic, guys, but it has happened a few times. And you're left thinking, that's a bit strange, Just a bit weird. Just doesn't make much sense. Because the rivalry grows to the point where they have to basically kill each other to end it, sort of thing. That's just wrestling, right? But yeah, that's just our wrestling philosophy there. What we go with, but yeah, that's our answer to that. Have you got anything to add to that at all?
Nope.
No. Cappuccino says Unity. Yes. He put down, you read that in a high-pitched voice. Yes, I did. But here's the strange thing. I read it in Matt's high-pitched voice. Don't know what that means. It is strange. What do you make of that?
I can't say.
Do you think maybe I...
That's quite bizarre.
Do you think I...
Or maybe it's just the fact that you've come used to hearing me utter that phrase. Of Unity!
Oh, okay. Right. We need to put a stop to the shit now.
Unity!
See what you've done, Cappuccino. See what you've done, okay?
Unity!
I put the blame firmly on his shoulders, okay? Okay? I've got my eyes on this shit. This gets out of hand, alright?
Unity.
I'm just going to continue. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
We shall continue, Tony. In unity.
I was waiting for it. You bastard. Okay, before I give you any small pieces of blank space to fit the fucking word unity into it, I shall continue. No, don't you fucking dare. No. Racist Fan Rocks says that if WWE were to bring in the world cutest tag team, which initially I didn't know because, like I said beforehand, don't watch Ring of Honor, but it includes Joey Ryan and someone else I'm not that don't know as well, right? So I'm just going to be honest here. There's only so much there's only so much wrestling I can watch in a week after 3 hours of Raw. Do you think that bringing in someone like Joey Ryan, I'm just going to run with Joey Ryan. That's the one I know the most of.
That's only because he has a penis gimmick.
Pretty much. Well, it works, right?
I know.
Look at it. Because we are a big fan of sex jokes on this podcast, so naturally, it sorted me out. Yeah. So, would we bring them up on their own, or bring them in with other people when they sign, like a big group of like new talent? I guess this kind of goes with the fact that we were talking about having all the New Japan recruits come in as a big group. Now, the only reason why we said that is because of the injury crisis that's going on at the moment, is to bring them in as a group. Because you'd have to get people in. And if you make too many debuts at the same time, it takes the sheen off the debut. So if you do it at once, then it doesn't do it as much. But if you're bringing in people, I'm always on the thought track, Matt. Now, first of all, WWE are never going to sign Joey Ryan. Just saying that now. Well, they maybe down the line, but not at the moment. I mean, he's got a fucking YouPorn fucking sponsorship.
I was going to say, not whilst he's doing the penis thing.
Yeah, right. It's not going to happen. But when they bring in people in general, Matt, I'm always a fan of then giving them, making them debut on their own first. If you want to group them up, you can do it afterwards. The reason being is that, one, it gives them their moment. It gives them a time to be the spotlight being put directly on them. And when you get people that come in as a group, you can have very talented people go through the cracks of that group. You know, not because your spotlight has to go through on that entire team. Naturally, these people that you've selected that are good enough just may not get the entire spotlight. The reason why I said that about the New Japan lot is because it's an extreme situation that they'd all come in, and that's the main thing I say that. But what do you think about this, Matt? In general, do you think if you're going to bring in a group of people, let's say WWE go to ROH and they sign 4 people, doesn't matter who it is, just done, right? Would you bring them in as a group, or would you debut them individually at very least first?
The only problem is I wouldn't be signing 4 people straight off unless I was going to bring them in as a group.
Are you under that assumption? Yeah.
Well, it depends what the plan is to go with. Like I feel like they've signed Nakamura, Styles, Gallows, and that to be part of the Bullet and or Balor Club, whichever way they're going to take it, and that will be that. They want that stable.
That they gave the offers with the indication, and always going to be the plan that they would be a group, sort of thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
So unless they were going for this is now the Ring of Honor lot, I don't think they'd signed that many people at once.
That's quite a good point, actually. I think that probably is the better answer. WWE can be, especially now because they've signed quite a few big talents. I don't see them signing.
I think now it would just be a case of I've heard of this one individual or a couple, but we're going to have to see which one we want.
Yeah, maybe just be the case. Yeah, actually, that's quite a much more well-rounded answer, Matt. And you know what? Fuck you for that. Yeah, that's right. All right, moving on. Kane St. Dennis says, would we like to see Maria Kanellis, she's now in TNA, and Gail Kim back in WWE? My answer is Maria, maybe, if she's not done with the Dipsy gimmick, because I think she's far better than that now. Well, I think she was better than that back then as well, but she's been conducting herself like a very good character, you know, like a character very sure of herself. She's a bitch, basically, you know, essentially.
Yeah.
And working with that a lot better than the Dipsy fucking stupid bitch that she was in WWE, who was hot, and that was pretty much her only redeeming quality, right?
She has a fine ass.
Jesus Christ, does she? She is an extremely attractive woman. I will say that, absolutely. She's one of the last women that got the Playboy deal. Funny enough, wasn't it? Before WWE stopped doing that, yeah. So maybe, sure. It all depends on. I think with Maria, obviously, it depends on where her man goes. Of course. Gail Kim, absolutely fucking not. And this is the thing, whether or not I would like to see Gail Kim back there. I love Gail Kim, first ever winner of our Women of the Year awards 2 years ago, and I would not like to see her in WWE. And the reason why, I think Matt can probably see this, WWE have had 2 swings of the bat to use this woman properly, and they failed to do so both times.
Yeah.
They re-signed her because of how well she was doing in TNA, all the great matches she was having, with that reason that she could be fantastic again, right? And then they just refused not to use the woman. Don't understand. Makes no point. The biggest thing that she did, Matt, in her second run with WWE was be the woman that Daniel Bryan was dating instead of the Bellas. Do you remember that whole love fucking quadrangle thing?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I'm in complete agreement. I wouldn't want to see Gail Kim return to WWE either. In fact, I mean, it's not even to the extent that you say of sort of like WWE fucked her up twice already. I just wouldn't want it because that's just sort of like we can't. I mean, as much as we've been saying recently about like, oh, why do they keep bringing back the old talent? Well, it would be the same thing. Like they've been trying so hard, and NXT's been doing such a wonderful job of building a female roster. Like Becky's over now.
Oh, she's doing great.
Like fucking over. But then to bring back Gail Kim would just be like, yeah, we got no faith in these girls anymore.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. Yeah. I think the only thing
saying that if Karma were to return, actually, even then I wouldn't want it.
I don't know.
As much as I was sort of hoping for that day where it's like, she'll come back. She'll destroy the Bella Twins, and that'll be the end of it.
She'll just end their careers and just be gone. The one thing I would say is that, I do get what you're saying, and if Gail Kim was to sign with WWE, I think it'd be more in a trainer role, if anything.
Yeah.
Which she has so much to give. It's
like a Sarah Del Rey sort of.
Yeah, but yeah, that's my thing. I actually a little bit angry with WWE because they've had Gail Kim. Gail Kim is one of the most unsung heroes of women's wrestling over the last 10 years. She's fantastic, guys. She is phenomenal. One of the big things that I loved in TNA when I was watching it, I didn't like watching TNA that much, was watching Gail Kim work. She was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really, really good. And the funny thing is, you see her wrestle so well in TNA, and I've seen her wrestle great in other places as well. And then you watch what she does on WWE, it's like, just unleash the woman. Just let her do what she needs to do. And obviously this is a different time before the Divas revolution and all this other stuff. But, man, Gail Kim is... I think people underappreciate how good Gail Kim actually is. She is phenomenal. She is that good. But it's unfortunate that the way she was used to the majority of the time. So that's the bottom line of it. He also asks, what is our favourite pay-per-view poster? He likes the bragging rights posters even if he didn't like the events. Matt knows this. I used to be a little bit of a poster nut when I was younger. Didn't used to buy lots of them, but I was a big fan of what posters will be for the next event and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say that a lot of the posters nowadays absolutely suck. The fact that you've got R-Truth on the cover of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view poster, don't know why. No clue. Why Hell in a Cell, guys. We're talking about blood, brutality, and people being fucking destroyed inside of the confines of a steel cage, right? And you've got R-Truth on the cover of it. Just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever, right?
Yeah.
Some of the ones I liked the design of some of the Breaking Point posters with the glass shattering and all that lot. I actually liked the design of some of those. I love the SummerSlam one where they had CM Punk and Brock Lesnar, where they did it all comic booky. I don't know if that was a fan one.
I think that was a fan one.
Regardless, exemplary. Thought that was awesome.
Oh, what was it like Wolverine and the Hulk? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was good fun.
Yeah.
So some of them was the ones that I quite enjoyed. But yeah, I used to probably, if you asked me this 15 years ago when I was, in my early teens, I probably could have listed off fucking tons of them to you. But now it's not so much. Just don't remember as many. I remember them being back in those times being a lot more fun.
I mean, it's the only problem nowadays is to sort of I was doing a little bit having a peek through, and there's one I'm almost certain is legit, but there's I don't know if that's fan made at all.
What was that?
It was Battleground.
Okay.
I know. Bear with me here.
He's going looking for it. He's going search.
But it's Ryback.
Yeah.
in like the background looking like an absolute monster. There's explosions everywhere, and it's like the back of CM Punk.
Oh, okay. For like a match that they're probably going to have or something.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one, but sounds good.
Well, that's it. It looks good, like, but I don't know if it's legit or not.
Yeah.
But that's the only problem, is the fact there's sort of like there's so many fan-made ones that have just sort of snuck in, like you were saying about like Punk and Lesnar. It's like that could, I think the one you were on about was fan-made, like the comic book one.
I thought that was awesome. I thought that was brilliant.
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. But I mean, nowadays, guys, what they'll do is that they'll have like the logo, they'll have like the color gradient that they're using for that event, and they'll just have one of their superstars just look into the camera. That's basically a pay-per-view promo. They're incredible. You could make them. They're so easy. They're so generic nowadays.
Oh,
go on.
I found a new one.
Go on.
I actually really liked. It was No Mercy. I don't know when. It's before Orton got all the sleeves.
Okay.
But he's like probably like hunched over. He's holding a dove.
Oh, I saw that one. Yeah.
And it's like it makes Orton look proper twisted. And I was like, I like that.
Yeah. But like sometimes now, Matt, they won't even do anything as far as that, right? Well, the one I thought, like I said, that R-Truth and Hell in a Cell poster. It's just him in the suit outside of a cell. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, okay. I know it's not much of an issue. I actually disagree. Now it's more of an issue because they're the thumbnails they use for the pay-per-views on their network. I think they should be putting a little bit more effort, honestly. But still, maybe, still.
Yeah, I'm having to scroll through because I just literally just Googled, WWE posters. There's some good ones. But yeah, again, there's some really dickish ones where it's like, it's not even a poster. Like, this is legit not a poster.
Yeah.
Because it's fucking Punk and New Nexus and it's Nception.
Yeah.
It's go away.
It's one of the things I dislike as well, like the Royal Rumble one that they did. All it is just a blank background with loads of people just looking into a camera. That's all it is. Like, have a little bit of fun.
In fact, you know one that I didn't like?
Go on. We're actually spending so much time on this question. I did not think we would, but carry on.
Yeah. Hell in a Cell.
Which one?
Punk.
Oh, with the devil
Painted
one.
as the devil.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
I didn't really like that.
I didn't like it. A bit too corny for my liking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our answers to that. And there are some good ones, guys. There are some really good pay-per-view posters. But like I said, if you look over the past 5 years, you will see that there might be one good poster of that year, and the rest of them are just like the most generic BS that you can find. And most of them would be people that maybe not even involved with the actual match themselves. Like the actual show. Like R-Truth, I'm pretty sure he didn't even wrestle on that Hell in a Cell show.
Yeah.
I don't get it. It's like having fucking El Torito be the cover of the Elimination Chamber or something like that. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. But still. WWE Addict has another question for us, and he tells us that he loves it when we answer his questions. Well, I tell you what, we love answering them. Oh yes, take that. I don't know what really you're taking there, but still, awesome, fun. We're going to answer another one. He wants us to book a Survivor Series 5 versus 5 match, and I've gone further, because we've done this before, Matt. We're going to book and draft a team against each other over the course of time itself and different incarnations of each person.
Very well.
Who goes first? Who gets the first draft pick for their team?
Are we going to do like 1-1-2-2?
Yep, that's exactly how we're doing it.
Okay.
And we can't pick the same one. You can pick different incarnations, but not the same one.
Fair enough.
Okay. You can go first, Matt. I'll let you go first, because I've done a lot of research.
How generous.
Yeah, so you go for it.
Brock Lesnar.
Fuck you. That was my first pick. Come on, Brock Lesnar, for Christ's sake. All right.
Exactly. For what reason other than he's fucking Brock Lesnar?
I've got a surprise pick here. Well, maybe not a guy who competed in Survivor Series match, but a guy I think who would be exemplary in a Survivor Series match. My first pick is Big Van Vader. How do you like them apples? I'd like to see Brock Lesnar going against Big Van Vader. How about that? What's your second pick?
Second pick, oddly enough, I was going to go for, like we were joking about it earlier today, but then it was sort of like I stumbled on gold.
Yeah.
Maivia.
You went with Rocky Maivia.
Yes.
God damn you. That was one of my picks. People may be very shocked at that. But Matt, would you like to explain the reason why you picked him?
Because Rocky Maivia survived.
In his first match.
Yeah.
He won a Survivor Series match in his first match. He was one of my picks. I'm going to go, however, with... I'm going to double stack my two top picks with two of the biggest men in wrestling. I'm going to go Andre the Giant.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. I'm going big. Well,
Go
very
old
big
school.
with those two guys. Jeez.
Yeah.
Who's your number 3?
Oddly enough, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. That is a good pick.
A man who has done who has actually done well in Survivor Series matches.
He won one. There you go.
He did win one.
He did win one.
Indeed.
My third
As sole
pick,
survivor.
That's right. My third pick is a man who has broken records for his performances in Survivor Series matches. It's Randy Orton. Oh yes.
Most wins, isn't it?
I think he's got the most. He survived the most times. I believe.
Yeah.
But regardless, even if I'm wrong with that, he has a very good Survivor Series record. So I'm going with Randy Orton as my number 3.
That's kind of along the same lines as my number 4.
Okay.
Ziggler.
Ziggler, the big victory. Matt, you were lying. You said you didn't do that much into this, but you're putting out some big picks right now. This is pretty big stuff. So Ziggler for the victory.
I'm not
Okay.
taking it seriously, apparently. No, obviously, yeah, he's had a very good track record in Survivor Series matches,
Okay.
and he won the last one. Not the last one. Is it last one or one before that?
No, it's the one before that.
One before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the big one. The big one.
Which saw the end of the Authority.
Yeah. Not for long, but still.
Mm.
My next pick is a guy who maybe doesn't have a great record in Survivor Series, but has won a couple of matches, been involved in a few matches. And there's no one that performs better in a high match situation. It's Shawn Michaels.
It's quite odd because it's almost like the Shawn Michaels to counter my Ziggler.
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
thing.
Exactly. Man. Hey, your guy is a cheap imitation. My guy's the real deal.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I like to think that we've kind of got a LTW debate going on here, so this is also good. What's your final pick? What are you going with?
See, this is where I drew the blanks.
Oh, this is the one that could win or lose you. The argument here. You don't have to go for anyone that's been great.
The worst part is, it's almost to completely cancel out your Andre the Giant card. I'll just pick Hogan.
Oh well, he's won quite a few matches.
He is Hulk Hogan.
He is Hulk Hogan. Okay, so you're rounding
as
out
much as
Hulk
I feel like I'd really dirty my hands picking him.
Okay, but still, you've got to win. You've got to win, Matt. Sometimes you have to get into bed with people that you don't like, or in Hogan's case, get into bed with people that he likes too much and blurts out too much too. But
That's
still,
it.
So your team, rattle it down. It's Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Rocky Maivia.
Yep.
It is
Roman Reigns,
Dolph Ziggler, and
Hulkster.
And the Hulkster. Mine is Big Van Vader, Andre the Giant, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and my final pick is The Undertaker. Because he's got
which Undertaker?
It is the old Undertaker, the Thai Undertaker,
Purple Glove Taker.
Yeah, because maybe I've got this wrong. I think he's got a victory. This is one of the ones that I've had to. It was one of my later picks because you've picked a couple that I was going to go for, you know.
I believe so.
So I'm going to go Undertaker as my final one. So my group now.
Or simply because why? Because he's the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, and you come on as the Undertaker, right? He's going to be a good pick anyway. So yeah, there are two teams that will be going against each other. We can't pick who's going to win, guys. We'll let you pick. And Matt, I might see if I can put up a poll on our Facebook page where you can go and vote who wins. That's an interesting match right there. I think, Matt, my drafting of Big Van Vader as my number one is going to win me that match. I think he's the only guy there that could deal with Brock Lesnar. I think Big Van Vader is the man. He's the man.
Heyday Van Vader.
Hey, Matt, I'm talking about WCW Big Van Vader right now. roughly around that period, so even New Japan, right? Van Vader. Oh wow.
Okay.
Van Vader. That guys don't even know how dominant he was back then. What a man, Van Vader. Anyway, so there we go. Interesting for us there. Rico Quippins. I think that's how you told me to say it. I'll try and get it right each and every time. He asks us to rank these 3 individuals in terms of talent. And I was like, okay, well, this should be fairly easy. Oh, no. The 3 names...
This should be fairly easy. Shit.
He wants us to rank AJ Styles, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. Yeah. Fun. This is a little bit tough. So, interesting. He's... I look at it along this way. He put it as Styles, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan. I found a very hard time doing this, Matt. A lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And it's going to change according to whoever answers it, because obviously it's just down to particular taste. My list is, I'm going to go AJ Styles as number 1 at the moment.
Very well.
I'm going to go with Daniel Bryan number 2 and Cesaro number 3. And the only reason why I say that is because Cesaro is so gifted. But when I talk about talent and how technically good someone is in terms of their holds, their movements, the array of maneuvers that they have at their disposal, I think people are finding it very easy to forget how technically sound Daniel Bryan is because he's been out for so long. So that's the reason why I give him second. So I go Styles, Bryan, Cesaro. What are you going with?
I could agree with that.
You're going with the same, yeah?
Yeah.
Styles, apparently, everyone.
But unfortunately, that could change. That could change tomorrow.
Well, how so?
Like, not even with if anything were to happen. It was just sort of like, yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, I might be like, do you know what? On second thoughts, I think Bryan should come first.
Yeah. It's all down to how you feel on the day, what matches you've been watching recently. But regardless, guys, we're talking about 3 exemplary talents right there. You're talking about cream of the fucking crop. You really are. But W4RD96. I don't know. It's supposed to be Wardy or something. Educate me on your name, my friend. So he says, with the TNA roster not having Angle or the Hardys soon, apparently they're both going. I know Angle was. I didn't think the Hardys were, but still. What would we do with the roster, the product, with its look and style, to obviously make it better? My answer to that is to get rid of the management. I know it's got nothing to do with the product or the look and the style, but really it's all redundant if those guys are still involved.
Yeah.
So that's my thing. Going into it a little bit more, there's actually a problem with TNA with this. I'm going to explain it for some people that might not understand. I actually think that their look is fine. I actually looked at their new setup. I actually quite like their new setup in terms of their Titantron and how they got everything set up. I think TNA get caught up creating random championships and feuds a lot of the time. So they've got a King of the Mountain championship, which was only for King of the Mountain matches, but now they're having singles matches for it. So it's kind of like a random title that no one really cares about, right? They should, in the same breath, TNA are caught at this moment. It's not as easy for people. People might say, well, why don't TNA just do what Lucha Underground are doing? Which is just go for something so crazy, so bombastic, do something different with the medium of wrestling, and just change their whole philosophy of what their show is. It's tough for TNA because TNA gets their TV deals for being WWE lights. They're a knock-off WWE. So that's the reason why these networks are willing to give them a look, because wrestling's not doing great as a whole, but there's still, in terms of TV deals in America, the second best, right? Which is funny considering their TV ratings recently, but still. So if they were to do a radical change, TNA, and they were to change their philosophy, the way that they perform their shows, the way they shoot their vignettes, to something far more bombastic, or edgy, or let's say they want to go, not even go the Lucha Underground route, but they want to go extreme, Matt. They want to redo ECW again and make it an entirely hardcore brand. Just anything, just a radical change. That's not what they're being paid for by these networks. They're being paid to be WWE light. And I'm sure that if TNA could garner an audience by being different, then they would be happy, but it's whether or not the actual network will be on board in terms of letting them do such a change on their programming. Let's look at Pop TV. They might not be happy that TNA is going through a radical rechange of their philosophy and their look and everything along these lines. That is too far away from what they previously were, because Pop TV they got in bed with TNA for what TNA was, hoping that they can get better as what TNA was. You know, they didn't buy him with the thought of, okay, we're going to buy you, we're going to radically change everything, you're now going to be a hardcore, you're going to be like a very story-based promotion. They bought it for what it was, not so they could change it. So they're caught in a situation where they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. I think TNA are destined to fail at this current point. I've said this all along. TNA fans must hate me for it, but that's how I believe. What do you think of that, Matt? Do you think they're genuinely fucked no matter which way they go?
I don't know, to be perfectly honest. As much as I kind of feel bad for saying this, I don't honestly care.
Yeah, I think a lot of wrestling,
because it's just been a case of, it's a company that's been floundering for so long that it's just like, one day we'll find the karma, the karma seas. It's like, you won't. You haven't.
They remind me so much of WCW, Matt. It's crazy how much they remind me of WCW.
Yeah.
The ending years of WCW, this reminds me so much of it. It's. I think people.
It's almost like so blind. It's like, we can't lose. It's like, you lost.
Yeah, they've just been gradually fading for a while. People may take this. The reason why I'm so angry with TNA is because they fucked around their production crew. That's why I won't say hate them. I strongly dislike the company. They have a very good roster. Some of them are deluded, but there's some of them, they have a great roster with some great wrestlers on it. And I don't want them to be harmed in TNA going under. And believe me, I firmly believe this throughout the entirety. I don't think it's that roster's fault that the company is in the situation it's in. I think the company has made some very bad mistakes. They got to where they were for being an alternative company and giving like very good professional wrestling, and bringing up these new stars and making when they had AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, building the brand. They got into bed with Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, and anyone could have told them at that point, you do so at a massive risk of your company, and they're paying the price for it now. That Hogan and Bischoff going to TNA was the beginning of the end
of WCW. To be fair,
for instance, Hogan, when WCW was going down the pan, he wasn't like doing everything he could he was making as much money as he could before he could get the fuck out of the company, right? Why do you think he was so willing to go back to WWE once his contract with Turner fucking ended, right? Hulk Hogan is in it for Hulk Hogan, right? Eric Bischoff he's not. Eric Bischoff came up with a very good idea for WCW that got them on the map. He has, like Vince Russo did a lot of good stuff for WWE back when he was writing for them. They've done nothing since then.
Bro.
Yeah, right. Funny thing about Broforce, put that up, but if you want to say bro 500 million times, it's like channel you in a Vince Russo.
Son of a pilot, bro.
Yeah, you love that. You love that imitation. Adrian, Kevin Adonis. Yeah, that's Solid Monster stuff, awesome stuff. But you get what I mean, right? They haven't done anything much since then. Everything they've touched has kind of gone to crap. They both had their fingers in TNA. Look what TNA is now, right? They were doing fine before they got into bed with those guys. They really were. I guarantee you, Matt, if Dixie Carter could take the viewership numbers that TNA had before they got into bed with Hulk Hogan, they would take them in a heartbeat right now. They would take anything over what they were doing right now. So,
yeah,
that's the bottom line bit there. So, yeah, I think they're in an awkward situation, TNA. And people might say, "Oh, you're too harsh on them." I say it how I think it is. I do understand that they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't, but that's the situation that their poor decisions prior to now have put them in. And this whole thing with TNA is that whenever you see interviews, it always comes out as if they're saying, "Oh, the world's against us. If people just give us a chance," it's like, no, we gave you a chance and you fucked it up. Just deal with it, right? It's no one else.
I gave you a chance, and then you got rid of your 6-sided ring. Fuck you.
They've got it back now, but it's like, it's.
Well, no, that was like the worst part is I kind of hand that to the moment that TNA failed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I felt like I not that I was a huge fan of TNA at the time, but it's sort of like we had a moment where it's sort of like, oh, I really like this. This is good. Oh, they've gone to a 4-sided. I don't really like this.
Now, people may dislike Austin Aries. Definitely likes wrestling in a 4-sided ring rather than a 6-sided one.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, Matt, it is Hulk Hogan who made that choice.
Yeah.
To have the 6-sided ring. No, to have the 4-sided ring. Just saying, guys. Like, for me, a lot of people, I think, in the eyes of, let's say, general audience, TNA lost its identity the minute they changed that 6-sided ring. I think they lost a lot of what TNA was about when they did that. So, still. That's all of our questions for this week. If you'd like to leave any questions, leave them in the comment section below on our Twitter or obviously on our Facebook. And we'd love to get to them.
That's it.
They really help in the weeks where we don't have a lot of news and we can just take a lot of time going through your questions, dissecting them, talking about them a lot. It's fun. It's awesome. NXT Report Card is back after 2 weeks, Matt. It's back. Oh, yes. It's here. We're going to be looking at 2 particular groups of people. One of them is a team, and the other 2 are 2 women on the roster that I have to give a massive warning about. First of all, let's get to it. Let's talk about Dash and Dawson, the current NXT Tag Team Champions. Now, people may remember that we've talked about these guys before, and we said we're not convinced. Don't know, like they needed the title to make them at very least relevant. I've warmed up to them a little bit more, Matt. I think the title added the legitimacy that their character needs in order to portray being the hard-hitting bruisers, right?
That's it.
I think they've taken to the role, and I think they are exactly the right team for for where they need to be at the moment. And what I mean by that is that they are going to be a good team for Gable and Jordan to beat, to become the champions. That's firmly what I believe where this is going. And I think, look at the last heel champions that you had were Blake and Murphy. If you had to ask me who would I want between Blake and Murphy and Dash and Dawson, you know which one I'm going to pick. Dash and Dawson every single day. Because they just don't have dubstep for an entrance.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that they benefited hugely from getting the titles much more than Blake and Murphy did. When Blake and Murphy got those titles, no one thought of them any higher than what they did. I don't think they looked like they conducted themselves as champion because they were trying to be annoying heels. Dash and Dawson, when they won the titles, it gave them the legitimation of being proper bruisers, being guys that, yeah, you have to fight them to win the championships, but you don't want to. Like, you're not going to come out of that match feeling good. Any match that you come out with these guys, you're not going to feel good after it. So I think they benefited a lot more from having the championships than Blake and Murphy did. Interesting thing, Matt, to ask you: do you think these guys are going to do well on the main roster, and when they lose the world champion, the tag team championships, where do you see them going after that?
Do I see it working for them? Yes.
You do?
To be brutally honest, I don't know. I've always liked Dash and Dawson. Like, they've always reminded me of an old school team.
Yeah, they call it a throwback, and they
and because they are in every possible way. To be fair, I reckon they'll be okay.
Okay.
I think this current title run was what was needed to sort of really push them.
Yeah.
So now they were like, originally they were like, hey, they're Dash and Dawson, they're kind of around. And then they just sort of got stepped up. They had a match. Who were they against? They were on TakeOver, weren't they?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Not
they
London, the other one.
Oh.
The one where
the
they had the
champions
Dusty
then,
Challenge.
They weren't
no,
the
they had the
champions.
Dusty Challenge.
Yeah. And they weren't on that show, no. They weren't on that
They
show.
weren't on that one?
Oh, no, I think they were. Yeah, they were the team that Balor and Joe beat in the semis, wasn't it? Because then you had, yeah.
And they put on a good showing then.
Yeah.
And then they got the opportunity, and then they was like, right, we're going to drop the Dubstep Twins. We're going to give it to Dash and Dawson.
Yeah.
And I think with Dash and Dawson now, they've stepped up further. So I reckon, like, the title was originally, when, especially in London, we were one of the many thousands booing the final decision of that match.
Mm-hmm.
I think that them holding the titles has been beneficial to them.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I think when they drop the belts, I don't think they'll be too bad.
Yeah, like I think they're going to keep that sense of legitimation. I think they're gonna feel like proper bruises after that belt's been taken off them. And I think that with Blake and Murphy, as soon as they lost the titles, they became irrelevant, just pretty much overnight. Right?
Well, they were Bliss's
Bliss's bitches,
boys.
basically.
Yeah, it was just Bliss's boys.
Yeah.
So
that's all they are now, to be honest. And they come out wearing Freddy Krueger stuff. Just don't understand it, but still.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Yeah, I have warmed to them a little bit, and I think that I'm more inclined to agree with you, Matt. I think that when Gable and Jordan beat them, I think they're going to be fine. On the main roster, I'm not as sure. I think they would do really well coming in as being associated with another act. Let's just say, for instance, the Authority. Why don't they be the authorities guys, and they just go, you know what? This guy's been getting on our nerves. Why don't you go out there and rough him up a little bit? And that's exactly what they do best. You know, they want to make money, they want to succeed, they want to. No flips, just fists.
Yeah,
it's not pretty when they punch the shit out of someone, but not it shouldn't be. You know, they go out there, they hurt people, they get paid for it. A little bit like a heel version of the APA, if you want to ask it that. You know,
that's it. Or the Authority Shield.
Yeah, right. You know, I think that'd be a good role for him. One thing I will say though, just before we give our grade on Dash and Dawson, I honestly think that one of these guys is better than the other. And I don't know their names individually. I think.
I was going to say, is this where it's going to turn into that problem? Which one's Dawson? Which one's Dash?
A little bit. Basically, the guy who's got the mutton chops, he's far better than the other.
The bald guy.
The bald guy, right?
Yeah.
He is a guy who went.
I think that one's Dash.
I think he's Dash, yeah. So I think he portrays in the way he walks and the way he talks. When they do promos, he comes over so much better than the other guy, just infinitely. Like the other guy is okay, but I think it's. I'm just going to say his name's Dash. If I got it wrong, whatever. With Dash, he walks around as if he feels he comes across exactly how his character should be, which is a guy who likes just punching people, but he thinks he's above everyone else. Like he's got the heel in him, right? It just works. It looks right, and he's a good promo as well, in my opinion. So
yeah.
My grade for Dash and Dawson, Matt, is a B+. I can't remember what we gave him beforehand, but I think that's still fairly decent.
I think that's an improvement.
Yeah, I think it would have been. I'm actually, I think these guys have taken the opportunity, and I think they're the best heel team in NXT at the moment, without question.
Yeah.
So, and there isn't too many heel teams, but they are the best. So
that's it.
What's your grade from?
I completely agree with your B+.
Wow. We often don't agree, so there we are.
That's true, but no, I will completely agree with you this one.
Yeah.
I don't think they're quite A rated yet. I think I haven't seen them again. I haven't seen this week's NXT. I just didn't have the time, so I don't know how their Ascension match went.
It was good. It was pretty much as you expect it to be.
Physical.
The one thing I actually like about their builds, by the way, Dash and Dawson, they're not ripped. And that's kind of the point, right? Is that they're barrel-chested. That they come out and they're, they've got the chest hair. They just look like proper bruisers. That's what I like about them. They wouldn't work as well if they came out and they were fucking ripped, right? And they were like, you could see every single, muscle on their body, Just wouldn't work.
I'm sort of like, in comparison, it's like you've got, obviously with Breaker, you had, what was it, Sabatelli?
Yeah. That's it, yeah, from Breaking Ground, yeah. And he
I don't
is,
think
like,
jacked.
yeah, you can't fucking pinch a bit of skin off the guy. Like, he looks in pristine shape. You couldn't have the two of them looking like him. Just wouldn't work.
No.
You know? But they still look strong as fuck, and they look like they can batter you because they are strong. You know, it just comes across. That's the way I look.
Legit, yeah.
It's legit. I want to talk a little bit about Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. Now, I brought this up. They're not being graded this week, although I could have, and they would have been rated very fucking low. People may be shocked at me for saying this. Let me go with this, Matt, because you don't know these girls that much.
I know Royce.
Yeah. But a lot of people don't know these girls because they're basically NXT women's backline. They're the next wave to come in. And they've had a few matches here and there, mostly jobbing matches, but they've had a few matches. I want to talk about these two women. They're both Australian. They look like they've got good potential, Matt. In the ring, they look okay. But they need to cop the fuck on and quick. When I look at both these women, the way they go out and the way they conduct their promos and the way that they move and the way they come out for their entrances and the way that they do their gestures and they look at the crowd is all fucking abysmal and it's cringeworthy. I think that when you're looking at... Basically, one of them brings a flower out and sniffs it randomly because she's the Venus flytrap of NXT. What the fuck?
Is that the reason?
Well, she calls herself that this week.
I don't know.
What that has got... I don't know how the people behind the scenes thought that would be a good gimmick.
That's not how Venus flytraps work.
Right? That she's... Every single day... She just looks like she's fucking addicted to smoke... Is she smoking crack out of that flower? Is that the only reason why she enjoys it so much? Why do you have it? You've got it in there because you thought it would be nice to have a prop, so you're sniffing the fuck out of it. It doesn't work. It's awful. The other one looks like a lingerie model mixed with a goth. Don't know why. Don't know why.
And I don't know who you're on about.
Matt.
The fact that you even gave me the name and I Google searched, and I still have no idea who you're on about.
Yeah. It's one of those things where I'm looking at them, Matt. When you watch Raw, when you get around to watching it, you'll be like, what were you thinking with these promos? Because what they did, they had a women's battle royal at the end of the show to decide who would be the new number one contender for the championship.
I like the decision.
Yeah, I like where they're going because it's not going to be a takeover match. That's a mid. That match is going to happen.
That's a midterm,
and I'm fine with that. Who won it? Which was Carmella, right? They can play up the friendship between them. It's fine. That's a match that works. But they had promos for each of the women before the match. It was only maybe about 10-15 seconds. The problem is with these two girls, it was 10-15 seconds too much. Their gimmicks need to change. They are part of a paper-thin NXT women's backline that unfortunately has a few of the women on it that haven't been given the attention that they need. So now it looks like this division is paper thin, and unfortunately it is. Really, all you've got is 4 women of what I would think you've got good quality there. Yeah, and I mean main event style quality. So you've got Bayley, you've got Asuka, you've got Nia Jax, who's had a main event. I think she's got it in her, and you've got Emma. I think Carmella's not quite yet there yet. If this was announced that she was as an opponent for Takeover, I'd be a little bit like, well, she has to show us that she's good enough, because so far I haven't really seen it, right? So you've got 4 women there, and you've got the rest of them around. You've got a few okay ones, like I said, like Carmella, Alexa Bliss. But then the other people, the backline, oh my God, Matt, it's thin. It is so thin. It's not going to work. You know? If, let's say, 3 women were taken out of this roster and taken up onto the main roster to fill out their division, I would be very scared about this division right now. Because it's just... And these are 2 women that you think are the closest to becoming the new Alexa Bliss, the new Carmellas, that they're kind of close to breaking out and actually getting characters, being able to have promo times, have matches every week. This isn't going to work. Like the gimmicks that they have, it's just not going to work. It's horrendous. And one of the things I dislike as well, they had Aaliyah. They had, she was in that battle royal this week as well. Do you remember her from Breaking Ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The belly dancer.
The belly dancer. I don't know. For instance, Remember William Regal in that show when she came out and he was like, well, she fucking blew it. It was awful. So why did they not amend it before it went onto the main show? Because they did exactly the same sort of shit here that they did on Breaking Grounds with William Regal going, well, that's just not going to work. That was shit. That was awful. But she was doing exactly the same kind of stuff. Her promo was like 5 seconds, and it was a bad 5 seconds. Just going to say it. A lot of tender care needs to be... Listen, Sarah Marto can teach all the moves to these women, and it'd be fantastic. The reason why a lot of these women came up, and they did so well, is because their characters were larger than life, and they made a little bit of sense. When Sasha Banks came out that she was the boss, which she felt as if she was the boss. The way she walked and talked, acted like the boss, right? Felt that she was above everyone. You had Paige, who was the anti-diva, and that worked for NXT. Not so much the anti-diva anymore, but that's a different problem. Charlotte, who was bred for perfection, right? That she was bred for success, genetically superior, carried herself like a champion. Becky Lynch, who became, you know, the steampunk-inspired girl, but, you know, came into her own as the Irish girl, the last kicker. All of it felt as if it was a good extension of who they were. With these gimmicks that these girls have got, it doesn't feel like I know who they are, and the gimmicks that they have make it feel like they're acting something, and they're not acting it very well. It doesn't feel natural in any sort of way. It feels awful. So that's my part of the problem there. I'm not going to grade them, but if I did, it would be fucking low. It's not good. And I'm worried about that backline in NXT at the moment, of that women's backline. Because it's not there yet. They need a bit more time, they need a bit more care. But I'm going to go with that. But we'll see how it goes. Nia Jax was not in that Rumble, by the way, because apparently even now she's still struggling with the guillotine that she was put in by Bayley, which was like a month
Really?
ago. Yeah.
Oh god.
So didn't exactly come off that well. And she's still in her gear, by the way, to wrestle. And obviously she's going to wrestle with the tapings and stuff. That sort of stuff is where NXT gets a bit dodgy, but still. I still enjoyed NXT having just matches and stuff, and seeing NXT again. You know, actually having it come back, it was good stuff, but still. What do you think, Matt, of that though? Do you want to defend these women at all, or do you believe
no?
It's a little bit worrying as well?
Nope.
No. Well, when you watch it, put it up on the Facebook, whether or not you thought I was right or not. Oh, by the way, that was where it had the thing where Cameron said in her promo, people have been asking, where's Cameron? Really? Because I haven't heard them at all.
Oh, is that where that thing came from?
That's where it came from.
Oh,
so,
okay.
According to her, people have been asking where she's been.
No.
Don't think anyone really cares. So, just going to say that. Now, we get to our Raw review, Matt. Interesting Raw, this one. The reason why I say that is because we're getting very close now to Royal Rumble. I think it's actually next week, is it not? Royal Rumble? I think it is.
Believe so?
It is next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday.
Yes.
So this is a mid-monther. We said that we liked the show last week, didn't we? I think we did. Yeah,
we did.
Had some good wrestling in it. So I wonder if they can carry on. And this came from New Orleans, Matt, the home of WrestleMania 30. And the return of Brock Lesnar to our television screens. He has not been around for a little while, but he was on this show. Took a little while to find where he was hiding, but we got him in the end. The show starts with the roster gracing the stage as Vinnie Mac himself comes strutting down to the ring. New Day, of course, dancing to his theme song. I never knew you could dance to No Chance in Hell, but apparently
they'll find a way.
They'll find a way. Yeah.
New Day always finds a way.
That's it. They say the new champion is one of the men on the stage. And I thought it was quite funny that they say that when I think that Triple H is still quite a heavy possibility for winning that, and he certainly wasn't on that stage.
That's true. Do you know what thing? Just wait. I spotted something on that stage.
Oh, okay, go on.
I have not seen it in quite a while.
Go on.
Dark hair and beard.
Do explain.
I spied a Sandow.
A Sandow, a rare Sandow.
I spotted a Sandow.
Oh.
I got really confused. I was just like, because I was just like on where I was watching it, I sort of paused it just briefly, and it showed the New Day, and they were like, "Oh!" And it's just like, it's him in the background.
He's actually alive.
But he's in the full regalia of like Lofty Tofty, I'm gonna fucking insult your intelligence, Sandow.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a bit odd. Okay. Well, still, the only time I've seen Sandow recently, obviously I missed him there, is on Xavier Woods' YouTube channel doing.
He was apparently on SmackDown.
Still.
In the pink and purple.
What, the Macho Mando?
No, you know when he was in pink and purple to very begin with.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay, strange. Well, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Well, I say that. I don't think they're going to do anything with it, but still.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see that they'll do nothing.
Yeah, exactly. They could have done so much with him last year, Matt. Jesus Christ, could they have done so
They could have
much?
done so much with him and Cody when he won Money in the Bank, but let's not get back into that.
Yeah.
It still stings.
Yeah, it still hurts a bit, all right? Excuse me. So they say that the New Day could win the Royal Rumble, and they say it's not booty. Words which I thought I would never hear from Vince McMahon, but sure, it's not booty. So the only booty he wanted was Trish Stratus when she was barking like a dog, but a lot of people want that booty, so that's not too much of a problem.
Though a lot of people still want that booty.
A lot of people are still, people are still upset that she's married with kids, but still, each their own, I guess. Bray Wyatt randomly shows up using his shouty trick, and then shows up on the table, and I can add exactly what he added to the conversation with this. There you go.
Sweet fuck all.
Sweet fuck all. There you go. Absolutely nothing. Roman Reigns, to the point that I was like, why the fuck did he come out at all? Why did you even have to make his entrance? Why did you dim the lights? Why did you do all of these things when all he said was, I guess I can win it as well?
Well, no, because he was just like, as I did last year, anyone but you. And I was like, okay, yeah.
I still equate that to being nothing. Really.
Yeah, yeah.
So, there we go. Roman Reigns comes out. Stephanie berates the crowd for not getting their chants in unison. I've always said I think that's counterproductive. And funny enough, the crowd was pretty much dead for the rest of the night. So, yeah, berate them for what they're saying, not berate them for the way that they're saying it. Because then you're making them feel silly, and then they'll be like, oh. Maybe I'm a little bit too defensive, but I think that with WWE and their mainstream crowd, they need to give them every chance they can. They need to try and get them chanting, not being like, But,
yeah, not shitting on them.
Yeah. But with Stephanie's like, she's being very sort of condescending when she's being like, oh, they can't even get it in time. Oh, look at them. And then the crowd will be like, well, fine, we just won't chant then. And it's like,
fuck you then.
Counterproductive. Reigns asks Vince what happens if he actually wins the Royal Rumble match. And the more and more that he says stuff like this, the more and more I'm thinking that Reigns is probably going to have his first Super Reigns moment and actually win the title at Royal Rumble, which I think is the wrong way to do it. I think Roman Reigns has to lose his championship. I know they're swapping the title out a lot recently, but I actually think that having Roman Reigns lose the title, because it's realistic, him against all those people, he's going to lose. And I think that...
I still stand on what I said last week.
Well, having him eliminated even before Brock Lesnar gets out there and Brock Lesnar wins.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it. But
just get screwed over by Triple H.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to have Roman Reigns probably wins the thing, and they're going to have Super Cena, but in the form of Roman Reigns. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. I think if you do that, you might run the risk of the fans start turning on him again. Because it's a little bit like, oh, this shit. Really? Because it just makes no sense. Like,
yeah.
You got to bring sympathy about this guy, and having him not win after having all these ads stacked to him, no one's going to think worse of him for that. I mean, come on, it's him against 29 people, especially if you make him come out first, which we said you should always do, in this situation. Have him eliminated by like 12, where everyone who comes in, they're not even looking to eliminate each other. It's straight for Reigns, and he's managed to survive for a good 30 minutes. And then as soon as he's eliminated, you can have Brock Lesnar as like number 25. This is a good 20 minutes after Roman Reigns has been eliminated.
Yeah.
I just think that's just an easy way to do it right there. I think that's the way you do it. That's the way you do it. Because then you're looking for your next savior. Brock Lesnar has been looking like the heel. He could even eliminate Triple H if you want to do it that way. Actually, no, that makes things a little bit too awkward. But you get what I'm saying. Going more into actually what happened. They set up a 1 versus all match for Reigns. Reigns against the entire roster at the end of the night. and they set up Ambrose versus Sheamus to kick off the show. Sheamus, literally as soon as they say that, Sheamus gets a cheap shot in, and yeah, this was less than 10 minutes, this opening segment, but it didn't really add much to anything at all, so
No.
it was a little bit redundant. But
It just sort of further emphasised what the current situation is.
Yeah. But at very least, though, Matt, we're getting away from... Remember when we had like a long stint of constantly, every single week, the Authority would come out, have 15 or more minutes talking about something, and it would be nothing happening. At least they're toning it down now. The last couple of shows I've noticed they managed to keep it under 10 minutes. That's
True.
Progress right there, right? So, at very least. Ambrose versus Sheamus. I heard someone in the crowd, when Ambrose and Sheamus were on the outside, shout to Sheamus, "How many mirrors have you broken by looking at them? You're hideous." That is some world-class
I heard that,
heckling.
and I was like, "You clever boy."
That's heckling to a noble degree. Yeah, it is. That's good. I applaud him. And it's an okay match to start the show, Matt. But I don't know about you, because it was just a thrown together match. I wasn't particularly invested in what happened in this match. Didn't really care.
It was just another one of those. We're here to dick over Reigns.
Yeah.
Woo.
The match ends in count out because Sheamus gets he actually gets busted open pretty bad on the outside. It's funny. I actually saw some fans. Whenever this happens, fans just seem to go, "Oh, they did that on purpose, didn't they? You can see where they did it." I'm like, shut up! Like, of course they didn't. You can tell where the gash. Jeez, come on. It's through WWE's no blood policy, and the fact it was just added at the end of an Ambrose Sheamus match just makes no sense at all. Guys, he didn't blade. People who are interested, people who are intelligent, no, that wasn't the case. He took a hefty bang on his head, and that's why he busted open. That's the only reason why. You can tell the sort of reasons, the sort of cuts, but still. As Ambrose gets ready to drive Sheamus through the announce table, Kevin Owens does his new favourite thing, which is arriving out of the crowd and attacking Dean Ambrose. He seems to really like doing it, so kudos to the guy. And he attacks him. That's, that's pretty much it.
That's.
Kevin Owens, Ambrose at the pay-per-view. They're going to have their rematch, and there probably will be in the Royal Rumble as well, I imagine, but still. Renee Young is trying to check on Ambrose as he bursts out of the trainer's room. Now, when I say he got beaten down, Matt, you got to remember the fact that Sheamus was busted wide open. Ambrose wasn't really hurt that much. Really.
No. I mean, it was just a lot of ground and pound more than anything.
Yeah. So he demands that Renee Young checks his pulse and to check that he's still alive, which of course he is. And he's gone on the search of Kevin Owens. Now, when I say he's gone on the search of Kevin Owens, I don't remember seeing Ambrose at any point at the end of this, the rest of this show. I'm looking for my notes. Maybe I missed it. Did he attack him? I'm pretty sure he didn't.
He didn't.
So what the point of that segment was? Yeah, I've checked it. Yeah, he didn't do a thing. He didn't fight. And Kevin Owens showed up at the end of the show by you to have a long, lengthy match.
He was like one of the key guys in the main event.
He had like a 15-minute match with fucking Roman Reigns at the end of the show. He's not that hard to find. But apparently, according to Ambrose, he went searching for him. Apparently, according to him, he got lost. Couldn't find him. So this was absolutely stupid. Where the hell did Ambrose go? Don't know. Well, he does have a habit. He did get lost to remember that Shield match where he went into the crowd and just never came back randomly.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe he just has a thing of this. He just gets lost backstage sometimes. So, yeah, I thought that was a bit weird. And like I said, when they've got like trainers going, Ambrose, we need to look after you. And I'm like, do you guys want to check on Sheamus over there? He's fucking bleeding out of his head, out of his forehead.
He's probably gushing.
Yeah, still. Paul Heyman, though, is back. And he's speaking to Vinnie Mac and Steph. Heyman isn't happy.
Paul Heyman is back, and there is much rejoicing.
There is much. The prophet has returned, shall we say?
Yeah.
Heyman isn't happy that Brock hasn't already been named the number one contender for the WWE Championship, and he would like that match to happen at WrestleMania. And Vince doesn't like the idea, and I'm like, why not? He's certainly paying Brock enough to be on these shows. Why not him be the champion? Shouldn't be that bad. Don't know. Apparently, for some reason, Vince just doesn't like it.
It's just no.
It's just no.
But
Matt,
why?
I'm watching this show, and Stardust versus Titus O'Neil 2. The feuding happens.
Yeah.
Why did we need this match?
I don't know.
Like, I can't tell what they did in this match that was different from their first match. And either or not, I just didn't care about either of these matches. But they have a feud, Matt, because they met each other backstage a few times, and Titus played a few mean pranks on the guy backstage.
Well, at least they tried to speculate. They were like, because, apparently Titus is trying to make, like, him Cody again. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool.
Because I thought that was funny, that commentary are coming up with reasons why these guys are feuding, almost. Like, we didn't see that play out on Raw. We just saw them. Did Titus want Cody? I tell you what, if he said that, then it's my bad. Actually, no, it's not, because WWE did this, and I can't fucking remember. It's gone that through my head because it was that boring at the time. So, man, I'm getting a bit annoyed.
Joe, the one thing I have to ask this one question.
Go on.
Where's Darren Young?
Yeah, apparently he's injured, but we don't know because it wouldn't. Yeah, but yeah, it's
like,
a little bit. Yeah,
just he comes back, we get primetime players for a bit, and now he's gone again.
Yeah, he's gone. It wasn't even explained why Titus O'Neil was suddenly a singles competitor.
Yeah.
Bit weird. But, yeah, and I thought what's even weirder with this, Matt, is that Titus here is apparently, according to commentary, leading the charge to bring Cody back. Goldust is on the roster. He's back. Why is his brother not doing that?
Yeah. Or better still, why does Titus care if he's Stardust or Cody?
Why would he give a rat's ass?
He has no no loyalties or affiliates with either.
Yeah. Or basically, this whole entire feud is because Titus kept bumping into him in his backstage fucking, his star thing, his astralarium.
It makes it sound terrible. He kept bumping into him in his backstage area.
Yeah, well, maybe that would be a better story if they had sexual tension and they didn't know how to sort it out. Maybe that would be a better feud than what we have going on right now. I don't know. And I think, like Liam put up on our Facebook page, that this could be a good, it has potential to be a good feud. It doesn't, because WWE doesn't want it to be a good feud, so it has no potential. I get what you mean. Titus, I think, has a lot of untapped potential if they didn't keep pigeonholing him as a comedy guy. And you've got Stardust, who is one of those guys that they basically give these random stuff to, and he manages to pull it off. So it should be better than what it is. But guys, this is WWE. They don't want this to get over too much. The only reason these guys are getting time is because of the fucking mountain list of injuries that they currently have. That's the only reason why Titus and Stardust are having matches. Let's be honest. So, I give Stardust credit for rocking the David Bowie face paint. So there's that. But Matt, it wasn't.
I got really confused that by the end of the night, he was just back to a star.
Oh really? Oh yeah. He did. Oh, that's kind of weird. I thought that all the things I'm saying, by the way, people might go like, Tony, you're being very, very harsh here on these guys. And I would argue with, when Renee Young put a finger on Ambrose's pulse to see if he was alive, they should have sent her out there to check to see if the crowd was still alive, because they were fucking dead. That kind of proves my point. They don't give a shit. Why should we? The crowd were absolutely dead. They didn't care. In fact, it was awkward how dead the crowd were in this match.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Titus gets the win again. So, no particular reason why this is continuing, but it is. And we eagerly await the third match that we never wanted to see, and done exactly the same time. Can you smell my apathy? I think they can, to be honest.
Yeah.
Stardust attacks Titus after the match, obviously leading to the obligatory third match, when there is no reason why they would have another match. So, still. We've got the Y2J highlights reel. I was immediately on the lookout for the Jerrytron that he has up on there, the new and improved one, Matt, which
look no different.
But maybe it's just got extra HD slots or something like that. Don't know.
That must literally be it.
Yeah. Who are we to judge? If it's upgraded, it's upgraded. And because to be honest, guys, it's not a highlight reel segment if it doesn't have that television set. It's a required thing to happen. So
not like anyone's head's going in it though.
Yeah. So Matt, My question to you is, why did Jericho want to dress like a flashy male stripper?
I don't know.
I
was hoping you'd have the answer.
I really don't. And for people that maybe didn't watch the show, he's basically got no shirt on, he's got his jacket on, and he's got that weird fucking scarf. I have no clue why he wanted to look like a male stripper. Don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
Don't understand. Maybe he keeps hearing about New Day and booty and thought, well, fuck it, let's just look the part. No idea.
Yeah, maybe.
Talking of New Day, they come out after Jericho says he'll win the Royal Rumble. Rooty Tooty Booty rings out on the stadium, which apparently has the same reaction to the New Day as it does when Stardust hears Cody chants. So maybe that's what they are all along. You've got Rooty, which is Kofi. You've got Tooty, which is Big E. And Booty.
No, Booty's Big E.
Booty's Big E. Sorry. Yeah, I've got that wrong. But
Dude.
maybe that's they're all going to go back to their base desires, which are going to be just their new faction will be Rooty, Tooty, and Booty, because that's what they are. I severely hope not. I'm only joking, guys. Well, when I say I'm joking, I'm joking. You know what? They're great, the New Day. Stay the fuck as they are. That's basically the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
Not much really said until the Usos come out. They say, whoa! About 500 million times.
A lot of whoa.
Just over it. Whoa! Whoa! Like, pretty much the same amount of times as Vince McMahon the other week decided to go, Happy New Year! Happy New Year! When they've got a writer who doesn't, when they don't know what to write, they just write the same thing like 8 different times.
Whoa.
Whoa, Matt. Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa! Yeah. So, I tell you what, Matt. A whole lot of nothing going on right about now.
Whoa!
Whoa! Whoa! I haven't had a wrestling talk show segment that I've enjoyed in decades, or at very least that's how it feels. Right? And Piper's gone.
I think it's because we've been killed by Miz TV.
Yeah, but Matt, Piper's gone, so he can't fucking save us with Piper's Pit now. So,
Cutting Edge?
it'll be alright. I get when it's WWE doing it now. But still. Jericho says that he proposes a tag team with the Usos and the My Little Pony Jabronis, and instantly Jericho became my daughter's mortal enemy. With you cannot bash Twilight Sparkle and live on fondly in my child's memories. You just can't do it. Can't do it. Once you mess with Pinkie Pie, you are fucked. I cannot say it. Matt, when you come over, can you say bad things about the My Little Pony crew?
Of course I can.
Not around her, though. They're like a ravenous piranha.
She won't hate me.
She loves you too much. But not Jericho. He doesn't get that sort of... He's not the...
She will learn. She will learn to love the Jericho.
Maybe. With statements like this, he doesn't make it easy. You know? When I'm telling her, Jericho is awesome. He can be great. And she's like, well, she's bad-mouthed Twilight Sparkle. You can't do that. I'm like, well, maybe she's not all up that she's meant to be. And then she gives me the look and says, look, I'm probably going to
Daddy, you're wrong.
Yeah. Do you like your testicles? Because, you know what, I'd like to kick them right now. And, yeah, that's about it. So, still. Usos versus the New Day. Considering this match was for, again, absolutely nothing, I appreciated the effort, but I just ultimately wasn't interested in where this match went. I mean, it was fine. The wrestling itself was okay, but it just had nothing going for it, really, I guess. I mean, it was lengthy too, but I think that was the problem. When there's nothing on the line, there's no sense of urgency there, and there's no... Like, when it didn't feel like it ramped up at all, this match, which is like a trademark of Usos matches. The last, 2-3 minutes are normally bonkers, right? No, not really anything like that here. Basically, all you got was the murder of Francesca, the trombone. So, I tell you what, Matt, before we get into that, Wouldn't you thought it would have been better before the Royal Rumble that when they do these matches to make them mean something, say, well, every match from now to the Royal Rumble, if you win it, it's going to improve your chances of getting a better thing in the Rumble.
Yeah.
You don't even have
Like,
to...
do you remember when they used to do matches like that?
Yeah,
Like,
every match was.
By now, everyone would have their number.
Listen, if they don't want to nail down the number and have the random element, I'm all for that. But if you verily say the winner of this will be going in higher than the losers,
Yeah.
that's no problem right there. Like then you're done, right?
Like, that's a given.
Yeah. Or what they do, Matt, is they say, okay, so we're going to have these matches before the Royal Rumble, the last 2 weeks into the Royal Rumble. All the participants will have matches leading up to it. The winners of those matches will be in the last 15 going in. The losers will be in the first 15.
Yeah.
15. Then you're done. Easy. Every match then going into the Royal Rumble means something, and you've still got that random element, right? And you can say, well, it might not even be that because you could have like 5 slots set aside for unknowns, and they could be anywhere in the Rumble. You just don't know where they're wild cards in that sense, right? There you go. Then suddenly this lengthy match in the middle of the show that doesn't mean anything, suddenly it means something. It gets them that step closer to becoming the world champion. You know? But, no. Didn't really happy. Usos win the match after Francesca is broken by Jericho. So, yeah. Still. Xavier Woods, by the way, is absolutely 100% inconsolable at the death of
do you know what? I was listening to the most recent Talk Jericho podcast.
Mm.
Apparently, they were talking about backstage that he would throw up the crotch, throw up the X's.
Yeah, yeah, really? That would be... nah, I wouldn't have liked to see that, because then it's like... Yeah, but still. I like the idea of it, but still. I want bring Francesca out on a stretcher and all that sort of shit. That I would have liked to have seen, but still. But no, I feel like I have a connection with Francesca. Like, she's one of the characters on Raw I actually quite enjoy. So, yeah. Usos, by the way, won the match using the most devastating finishing move in wrestling history, which of course is
roll-up pin.
The roll-up pin. Stephanie McMahon is talking to Heyman backstage. Heyman leans into her and simply says that Lesnar has absolutely zero desire to compete in the Royal Rumble match itself. He just wants to bide his time, go on the Royal Rumble. No, sorry, go into WrestleMania and win the title there.
That's it.
Stephanie talks Heyman down because she's running out of active wrestling talent to do that to. So Heyman was the next one. There you go. Sure. If you've got a client like Brock Lesnar, which is huge box office and can pretty much dick over anyone you want, why would he be backing down Stephanie McMahon? I just don't get that. But still. JBL announces Sting will enter the Hall of Fame class of 2016. Now, obviously, this is a great choice. I'm a huge Sting fan. Everyone knows that here on this channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I see this, Matt, as being a situation that could probably end Sting's in-ring career. I think after that match with Rollins, I think that's pretty much it, to be honest. There's still a chance he can have another match, but I think the Hall of Fame induction is a nice wrap-up to a final year of wrestling, which he was involved in 2 very high-profile matches, which ultimately he lost, but still.
Still, they were good.
In regards to whether or not he deserves this, obviously he does. Like, absolutely he deserves to be.
Were you just questioning whether he deserves a Hall of Fame slot?
No, well, I wasn't, but I have to add it in there, Matt, for people, you know.
Those people are wrong.
Yeah. You know what I loved about Sting, Matt? We're going to talk about a little bit about Sting. When I first started watching Sting, I was very young, and he was the beach blonde Sting, right? You know,
all the vibrant colours.
The vibrant colour, larger than life, right? He came out of the screen. And then eventually, when I got a bit older and I started really, instead of just watching it with my brother, watching it by myself, that's when he turned into the Crow character, which transformed that 80s and early 90s character into something very relevant to the time that wrestling was in at that time. And a storyline that actually made a lot of sense, which was Hogan had come in and basically pushed his slot aside and taken a stranglehold over the business that he helped create, which was WCW, right? Sting had been there for years, working and making WCW what it was. Hogan comes in and just like, well, I'm the main guy now. I'm the champion. You can go off. Here's my NWO. Why do I need you? So it was kind of a cool storyline. a negative to this, Matt, is that they didn't finish that storyline very well. I remember getting very excited for Starrcade '97, which was the first match of Sting as the Crow. He'd been gone for like a year, right? And it was against Hogan for the WCW World Championship. It should have been a clean match with Sting getting a clean victory. And instead, they had a match which wasn't clean, with a non-clean finish for the face. So Sting won by Hogan being screwed out of the title. Don't quite understand what their thought track with that was. That was probably his most high-profile match ever, Sting. You know, that Starrcade match. It's like, let me put this in perspective for you guys. It is like having, in his heyday, having Austin out for a year, right? Having someone else, like, let's say The Rock, rise to the ascendancy, win everything, try almost to erase Austin's name in history. Austin comes back, everyone's on him, everyone wants him to beat The Rock. He goes in and then cheats to beat The Rock. Like, he doesn't cheat, but you've got, like, Bret Hart getting involved. You've got these other people getting involved. And he can't beat The Rock unless he gets help. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But that was WCW. So, that's unfortunate. Do you remember that Starrcade match, though, Matt?
I wasn't such a WCW watcher.
You weren't, were you?
I don't know.
I tell you what was cool about that match. If you can go back and watch it on the network now, I love the way they did the intros and the entrance to that match. They had like a laser thing that had like Sting's silhouette in the sky. And when they both came in, when Sting came in, because he came in after Hogan, they had Bruce Buffer basically go through the story, right? But they merged the feed of Hogan being in the ring and the feed of Sting coming to the ring, and they merged them. So what it did, it had this very Hollywood-looking movie-style thing where Sting is walking to the ring, but you've also got the image of Hogan, you know, shouting at him and pointing at him while being in the ring and all this sort of stuff. It's really cool, really unique, and something that wrestling just doesn't do much of, right? But it was quite fun, and it was quite an awesome moment. But they fucked up that match, to be honest. But there we are. They mucked it around. But I tell you what, with Sting, if you look at Sting this year in WWE, do you ever feel though, Matt, that WWE should just given him that token run with the title, giving him a month?
I don't know.
You know, beating Rollins in that match where ultimately he got injured, but let's just say plans were otherwise for him to win the title, and then
I don't know. And the worst part is, like, at the time I was probably like well up for it, but now in hindsight, I don't know.
I thought it would have been awesome, personally. I think
it would have been good, yeah, but I don't know.
Like, I'm not saying Sting goes on a long championship run. I mean he loses the title. Like, he can have one match on Raw, defending it successfully against someone, and then he gets screwed out of it by the Authority because they need the title back in Seth Rollins. You can very easily go by that, you know. Or you just tell the story of the reason why Sting won was because Rollins had the two matches back to back, remember? And you know what? Sting is getting on. Like, Rollins in a straight match with Sting, Sting just can't have
beat him.
Just can't beat him, you know. But Sting did get that title victory. He was WWE champion for a very least little while. But some people may disagree, like yourself, Matt. But still, I still think that'd be fun. But I tell you what, very well deserved. I very, very much look forward to his acceptance speech, because I tell you what I love about Sting, not as a character but as a man. He's very honest about his demons. He's very honest about talking about the fact that he used to take steroids. And you talk a lot of stuff about the things that he did and how he's a born-again Christian and all this sort of stuff that he got involved in. He's surprisingly honest about the thing. You try and get honest answers out of someone like Hulk Hogan. You ain't going to get it, right? It's just never going to happen. But Sting is very much like, okay, you know, it happened. I can't take it back. I'm certainly not doing it now, but it happened, right? So, good stuff. Good stuff. Wyatt Family then versus the Social Outcasts. The Wyatt Family are out first, but the Outcasts come out with the generic rock music. Not much unlike, remember Daniel Bryan's very first theme, which he labeled generic rock music? Yeah, pretty much the same as that. Slater says they've come for a fight, and Bray looks like he's finally found someone to fight that is more insane than himself. So, cool. The match, however, doesn't last long at all before Ryback comes out and attacks the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
I don't know why he came out, but he did. He didn't leave this very long for it to be a match.
Why not?
Yeah. So, I tell you what though, Matt, fair play that the Outcasts weren't treated like perennial jobbers. They actually got a bit of offense here on this. But Matt, I'm a cynic, so I believe it's only a matter of time before they are treated like perennial jobbers. So, that's just me. But still...
We'll wait for... We'll get Royal Rumble out of the way.
That's it. I thought this was a bit of a waste of time. And I kind of dislike Ryback for messing up a match that I could have enjoyed, but still. Renee Young speaks with Kalisto backstage. He name drops Eddie Guerrero and John Cena as being, big guys of opportunity taking their chance and stuff, because he's got a US title match. And he says he's going to give it his all to beat Alberto Del Rio. This was a very big source of talk over the course of this week. Very interesting. So let's go into it. Kalisto versus Del Rio for the United States Championship. I know you got a bit to say about this, Matt. You were very interested in what happened here. And not so much what happened on Raw, but what happened one night afterwards.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. JBL says, if WWE had a Ballon d'Or, then Del Rio would have won it 10 times in a row. My answer to that is, isn't Superstar of the Year basically WWE's Ballon d'Or?
Yeah.
So, that's a bit of a redundant statement, is it not? And if they would have a Ballon d'Or, surely you would have Hugo Knox winning it in WWE, as he's the only guy who has professional soccer experience.
To be perfectly honest, I think everything that JBL says can take with a pinch of salt and can go away.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I would firmly agree with that. So, Del Rio comes out and says Cena isn't going to WrestleMania because Del Rio broke him, and now he's going to break Kalisto and calls him a mosquito. So,
surprised he didn't refer to him as a little chihuahua.
Little chihuahua, yeah, that's right. JBL's description for Kalisto is that he's WWE's ping pong ball. And it's at that moment, Matt, where I just again, I'm completely and utterly fucking done with you, mate. You're like, JBL, he's so worn out of me that I'm sure that about 70% of the problems on commentary are him. I'm just so worn out of JBL. The worst part is,
I've been watching, matches off SmackDown, just on YouTube and things like that. And I'm like, hang on. SmackDown's commentary team sounds so much better.
Yeah.
Heel King.
And Mauro Ranallo, who's the new guy. Yeah.
Ranallo is just awesome.
Yeah, people have been raving about his work, man. They've been saying it's awesome. I'll tell you what. Just fucking... listen. Just switch them. Give us 1 week with Ranallo and heel Lawler on Raw. Just do it.
Yeah.
You can't... Listen, it's only for 1 week. People aren't going to go flooding. People aren't going to be flooding from the product because Michael Cole, JBL, and Byron Saxton aren't on commentary. They will still watch, and they might even like it more. And if they do, then why the hell are you not doing it? It makes no sense. I've ranted about this fucking commentary team more and more. If I were Byron Saxton, I would be sweating, by the way. Absolutely. He is probably... No, I'm just going to say he's the worst announcer, bar JBL. And the reason why he is because I said this from the very beginning about Byron Saxton, and I've been proven right. He's everything WWE wants him to be, except what they want him to actually be. He's done everything that they've asked him to do, and he speaks about all the things that they do. He's just not what they want, and they've taught him to be that way. That's the most ironic thing about it. It's funny to me in that sense. But if I were Byron Saxton, I would be like, okay, I'm probably going to lose my position here. Well, maybe not, because I think WWE is going to stick with their guns with it. They shouldn't, but still. I'm not going to go around on it, but still. We've got plenty to talk about this US title match. I enjoyed this match, Matt. I thought it was very good. I
enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, I thought it was the best match of the night, easily.
Agreed.
Obviously helped by the fact that the match actually meant something. It was a title match, so that had something to do with it.
I liked the fact that the match actually Oh, obviously it meant something with it being a title match. But I just like the fact that it actually made Del Rio look like a legit competitor.
I get what you mean. And to be honest, I would have enjoyed it just as much if the finish had been something else. For instance, the other person winning. I'm just going to say it now. If Del Rio had
won,
yeah, I think it still would have been just as good. I'm not saying, Kalisto winning the championship was what I made this match. No, it was an exemplary match for a title.
It was an exemplary match, but it was also a very good underdog match.
Yes, absolutely. I thought that part of the match was done very well.
Like some of the things that Kalisto took, I was like, oh,
yeah,
like that where he sort of like suicide dived outside of the ring, and Del Rio's just like, no,
and he caught it
into the corner.
Here's one thing about that, Matt, though. I found something about the way that they do their replays that annoys me.
Okay.
So that is one of the spots that they actually replayed, and what they do, it's a trick they do. What they do is that they replay. And as they're jumping out, just before the point of where they're going to have their big impact, they do the slow-mo.
Yeah.
Which seems stupid, but I know the reason why they do it. They do the slow-mo, and then they speed up for the actual impact. Mm-hmm. So in that thing, they've got Kalisto diving out the ring.
Is it because it tricks your mind into thinking it's more than it was?
Yeah, that's the reason why they do it.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid. I think they should slow-mo it for the impact itself. Because then you can see the slow motion of him crashing into it and being so helpless. I think that's a Dunn thing. That's a Kevin Dunn thing. So that's how he likes to do his replays, and that's how you now I've said it to you guys. When you watch replays like this, you're going to notice it every single time. But WWE does it. Listen, I'm not going. It's not something that bothers me hugely. But if I were doing it, I would do it that you slow motion the impact, not just before, because then all you're seeing in slow motion is him just flying slowly outside of the ring.
Yeah.
Why would you want to see that?
The one thing I actually really liked is with that spot. I think Del Rio did a lot to try and protect Kalisto with that one. Because rather than going flush, I don't know what would have made a difference. Because rather than trying to just go flush into the wall, he sort of went, because it was almost like he'd been propped beneath the floor and the barricade.
I get what you mean, yeah.
And that looked quite safe, to be fair.
Yeah, it looked
it looked like a train wreck because it was meant to look like a train wreck. But
let's put this in perspective, guys. Del Rio treated Kalisto a lot more favourably than he did a certain Sin Cara. Let's just say that. Right? He's obviously got more respect for this guy than
he didn't reveal his face.
Oh, there's that, yeah. So, basically, this is probably the best singles match Kalisto's had in his relatively main. It is the best singles match he's had on the main roster, easily. He gets the win here. He does like a roll up, not a most devastating roll up, like a
sunset flip roll up.
Yeah, it's like a flip. I can't remember it's not a cradle. It's a victory roll. Victory roll. I think that's what it's called. Very similar to how Owen beat Bret at WrestleMania 10. I think he did it with a victory roll. So yeah, he wins. He wins the championship. Beats Del Rio. He is the new United States Championship, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I was shocked when I looked at. I was looking. Funny enough, I wouldn't have known this, Matt, if I had gone onto their website and looked for the list of names for the NXT Women's Backline. That's what I was researching, all the names for it, because I was looking into it. And it came up with the champions list. I was like, wait a minute, Del Rio got beaten on Raw by Kalisto. He's the United. Why is he up there? And then obviously I did the look and I looked at the news. Oh, yeah. So Kalisto lost the championship 1 day later.
Yeah.
Literally, 1 day later he lost the US title. Del Rio is the champion again. And I would argue that if you're going to make someone the champion, or you're going to put them in a championship feud, and you want to... How do I explain this best? I would have much rather, if they were going to give Kalisto a championship, them not to do it the way that they did it here. Because now that title victory means absolutely nothing, and people won't care. And I think that you diminish a title victory if you flip it over as quickly as you do here, where you just get beaten so not easily. I'm sure they had a long match on SmackDown, but you know what I mean. That they obviously did this to try and shock people, maybe add some credibility to Kalisto, but him losing it so quickly, all that work is like instantly undone. It's like there's no point of it. And to be honest, I think it's actually quite counterproductive them doing this.
Well, the thing is, it played into a lot of that Barrett was very heavily involved.
Yeah.
In the decision on SmackDown.
Yeah. But you still get what I mean, though, right?
In
this case,
definitely.
I would have much rather Del Rio win this match in a very hearty performance by Kalisto, but just couldn't get the job done yet, and then later on down the line getting a proper title victory. Whereas here it's just like, okay, they just did it, and then it's done, and it's gone. I'm sure Kalisto will get another match, which will be bad for people watching constant matches of Kalisto versus Del Rio, just back and forth, where they keep having rematches with each other, but like I think then that would be the fourth match. Like, back literally, for the last 2 weeks, Raw and SmackDown, they've had a match against each other. That's how it's run so far. So, I'm not a big fan. I'm sure other people will be a bit more happier, and they'll be like, well, fine, it's awesome, it was only for a quick thing. I think it's going to shock... They're trying to really get over SmackDown as being a big deal in USA. SmackDown, not everyone... Oh, well, we know we don't watch SmackDown, right? The majority of their fans don't watch SmackDown. So when Del Rio comes back out with that US belt, it's going to feel like, well, what was the point of last week? Like, what was the point of doing it?
That's it.
That's just how I say it, but still.
Alright, back. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, what happened there? But obviously they're trying to get eyes back on SmackDown. My argument of that is that they've left it really, really late. They've already educated people to believe that a simple change of network when it comes to SmackDown means that you get about a month of WWE caring for it, and then it goes right back to where it used to be, which is them not caring about it. So there we are. So Charlotte is talking to JoJo backstage, and of course Ric Flair, who apparently went back on his word this week, saying that he didn't care at all, Matt, when WWE used his son in a angle. Remember on his podcast when he said he cried and he was very upset? No, apparently, doesn't care at all.
Doesn't matter.
Just doesn't care. I think it's ironic that his opinions have changed in relation to how often he's been used by WWE. He wasn't on WWE television for weeks, months prior to that angle. You know, the Reed Flair statement.
Oh, that's it.
And suddenly he's on Raw every single week. Suddenly he doesn't have a problem with it. Isn't it funny about that? Isn't it funny? Hopefully this will teach some of the younger fans how often, and just remember what Matt has said constantly about Ric Flair, and people just Ric Flair in general, that how often and how easy he's willing to lie for his own business interests. He may, like, literally, it could be either way, but either way that he's talking about it, he lied. He's admitting to lying, or he's lying about lying. You know what I mean? This is Ric Flair. Matt, you said it. What have you said all along about Ric Flair? Do you want to say it once more to the people?
That he'll say that the sky is green to protect the industry.
Well, not only that, to protect his industry, right?
Well,
his interest.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to blast Flair for it, because at the end of the day, you've got to do what he thinks he needs to do to live the lifestyle that he obviously leads with all of his...
Not the one that he can afford.
Yeah, exactly, right? So... Not really much to talk about what Charlotte actually said to JoJo, but I wanted to bring this up, guys. Do not take this guy's word as verbatim, because he is clearly very comfortable in talking shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been comfortable talking. He made a living off talking shit, right? Back in the day when he was the top heel, he made a very fine living over talking a lot of shit. And guys, almost like Hulk Hogan, if there was a person that Ric Flair was before he got into wrestling, that person no longer exists.
Yeah.
He's gone. The character of Ric Flair is Ric Flair. The character of Hulk Hogan is Hulk Hogan. That's just basically all they are now. So there we are. Brie Bella versus Charlotte, not a non-match again, which you've had two of them on this show. Becky Lynch emerges to attack her former friend, and Becky Lynch, as you said there at the start of the show, Matt, she is well over as a face.
Oh, yeah.
She's the most over face in the Divas division right now. She is doing great work, and I think the fans have got quite well behind her. She screams at Charlotte, I like this, what she said here. She screams at Charlotte that she's going to take Charlotte's championship and she's going to take her arm too. I was like, that's the Becky Lynch that I wanted to see from day one. Not so much like screaming that she's going to kill people, but like, I missed the fact that when Becky Lynch was with Charlotte and Charlotte was champion, it was a little bit like, why are you not making active strides to win that championship yourself? It makes no sense.
That's it.
Whereas now, she is. Like, now she had to do it because she got betrayed, but still, it's happening. So, it's something I can get behind. Ric Flair afterwards says that Charlotte is in no condition to compete, and then channels his inner Louis Van Gaal and calls the referee a fat boy. Which, mate,
get my jacket. Was it? I don't even think that was even at the referee, to be fair.
I don't know. Well, he can't. He wouldn't be calling Brie Bella a fat man. Jesus Christ.
He can call Brie Bella a fat man.
He could do, yeah, sure. But
Brie Bella worse.
Anyone might be knowing the reference there. Manchester United manager Louis Van Gaal called a reporter a fat man, and that got him some controversy. So there you go. A few non-matches, like I said, later in the show. I don't like that, but I do like Becky Lynch's work at the moment. It's going well. Becky speaks to JoJo backstage, carrying on from that. An emotional promo that felt the complete opposite of the shit that NXT women's backline have been doing, which is she felt genuine, right? Felt like the words that she was saying actually were what she was feeling. That's how I thought of it, right? She was talking about now being alone, that her friend that she had had now turned on her, that she's made Charlotte
She's
tap
not
out.
got a famous daddy.
Yeah. And she's made Charlotte tap out once, and she'll do it again, and she'll take her championship. I think that Becky Lynch should look at how she portrayed herself in this. It was a very short promo. It was probably only 30 seconds. But how she portrayed herself and channel that going forward. The work she's doing at the moment is great. It's exactly how it should be. And this is the first rivalry since this Divas Revolution that I think has a chance of really going somewhere. Awesome. Still don't know where they're using Sasha Banks throughout this entire time, considering she has said that she's not injured, in which case WWE doesn't have any excuse not to be using her. But still.
Oh, fair enough.
There you are. The main event then, Roman Reigns versus the entire WWE.
Versus 12 people.
12 people, yeah. And basically, him against Kevin Owens. He wrestles Kevin Owens for about 15 minutes here. Like I said earlier on, Ambrose must have got lost because he just didn't arrive. So there you go. And I knew there was going to, there wasn't going to be, much wrestling after Owens, considering like there wasn't that much time left on the show. But it was quite a slow match actually between Reigns and Owens. They were obviously killing time, and there was a lot of rest holds, a lot of chin locks. I don't mind on an occasion, but to me, the match never gained a second gear. It was in first gear all the way going through. So that was part of the problem with it. And kind of, you knew it was going to end in a beatdown anyway, so you kind of just was waiting until the ending happened, really. Everyone jumps in, kicks the shit out of Reigns until a certain Bork Laser. Laser.
It was good.
Yeah. No, obviously Brock Lesnar shows up. And he teaches all these mid-carders their place on the food chain by just destroying all of them. Back to the mid-card you go. That's what he says to them. He clears all the opposition out and then gives Reigns a hearty F5 to end the show standing tall. And by this, by the way, he says no words. All he does is just destroy everyone in the ring. Michael Cole takes that as a declaration that Lesnar's going to the Royal Rumble. Don't know how he came up with that. It's basically him adding 2 and 2 together and making fucking 30. I don't know where he came up with the fact that, Brock Lesnar, obviously this is him saying he's going to be in the Royal... Really? I just thought he just came out just to beat the fuck out of people, which is what Brock Lesnar
Especially
does.
considering it's like that you've got Vince and Stephanie out there, and he's just sort of like, I don't like this whole bullshit. I have to compete in the Rumble. That's all it could be. He could literally just be coming out to tantrum.
Yeah, well,
he's Brock Lesnar.
If they wanted to say something, what they could have done very easily is had Brock come out there and him be pissed off. And if you want to say this was his declaration that he was going to be in the Rumble, just end the show with Heyman going, very well. In which case, if you're pushing our hand, then we'll have to injure the rest of your roster because we know how many injuries you're having at the moment. Brock Lesnar's going to be in the Royal Rumble. Just 10 seconds. That's all you need with Paul Heyman, just to grab a mic and say, you signed your own death roll and all your guys are getting injured. It's Brock Lesnar. This is what he does, right? You could have got away with this by just handing me your champion at WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar could have killed him and taken the title then, but now Brock Lesnar's going to have to take out 29 guys and injure all of them, and you won't have a roster left. Congratulations, Vince McMahon. This is what you've done. But instead, Brock Lesnar F5's Roman Reigns, and Michael Cole freaks out by going, oh, he's obviously going to be in the Rumble. And I'm like, but what? Where did you get that from? Was there some fine print on Lesnar's shirt that said, I'm entering the Rumble, that I just didn't see?
It's just sort of out of nowhere. It's just sort of like, here I am. I'm going to be in it. It's like, but you might not be.
I just thought Michael Cole freaking out about it. It's like, Lesnar didn't say anything. He didn't do anything. He could have.
He just came out and was Lesnar.
Yeah. Like, if he could have been an elimination chamber match that he wanted him to go, and he'd done exactly the same thing, and it would have been like, well, it doesn't, oh, he's going into elimination. Doesn't matter about the match. Like, it doesn't make any. Still, I'm getting annoyed. Matt, all in all, I thought this was a mid-monther with a slow pace and a show that I thought redeemed itself with a good, decent title victory, but obviously in the end, not really. So I actually give this match a thumbs down. I didn't like this match. This show. I wasn't a big fan. I was quite bored actually throughout the case of this show. What about you?
An average.
I put it below average personally for me.
Yeah. Yeah, like you had a solid match. We got a solid match out of it.
I guess I could see why people would like it. I guess, but
that's about it.
For 3 hours, nah. And there's a lot of fucking basically WWE did a lot of lazy writing here. The whole Ambrose thing, I still don't understand where they were going with that.
Yeah.
Right. The thing
it's
at
just
the end,
out of nowhere that they're still like, are they still punishing Reigns through Ambrose? Like, is that still a thing? I'm guessing so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes more sense, right? Because of how the show started. But there's even more stuff there, like Bray Wyatt showing up randomly. Like, what's that all got to do with it? Ryback coming out to attack him. I know, obviously, maybe the Wyatts attacked him on SmackDown or on Raw, and I just forgot. Because
apparently they attacked him on SmackDown.
Well, WWE are making a big problem here at the moment where they're putting all their eggs in to try and get SmackDown into big brand, and that was taken away from their main show because they have to live with the fact that you can't not care about SmackDown and then suddenly care about it and then expect everyone to watch it again. That's even worse, Matt.
You care about SmackDown now? Good. I still don't.
Like, the fact is, Matt, even if SmackDown becomes a big deal, I don't have time in my week to watch another 2 hours of wrestling. Get over yourself.
The only time I'll probably start watching SmackDown is if they brought back the draft.
Yeah. In which case, then you're watching kind of like a different show in and of itself. That's what made the draft special. It. But they just don't have that now. Like, if Raw was 2 hours and SmackDown was 2 hours, then maybe I could get through it a bit more because I'd watch each show in one sitting. Raw is 3 hours. It's incredibly tough to watch in one sitting, to the point that people know that when the weeks that I get very critical of Raw are often because I've watched them in one sitting, But it's no. Listen, guys, as good as SmackDown might get, I'm not spending 2 extra hours of my week watching that. It's got too many. Matt, look at that then. Look at that. On weeks that they do like the NXT specials and the pay-per-views on the same week, you've got Raw, which is 3 hours, SmackDown 2 hours, you've got NXT, which is an hour, you've got the NXT special, which is 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got the pay-per-view, which is another 3 hours.
3 to 4.
You're looking at over half a day non-stop wrestling content over the course of 1 week. Talk about having far too much.
I think you'd be pushing a full working day.
Yeah.
Well, no, think about it. So you've got 3 hour Raw, 4 hours if you include the 1 hour NXT.
Okay.
6 hours if you include an NXT special. 8 hours if you include a SmackDown.
Yeah.
And that's before pay-per-view, and I'm on 8 hours.
Yeah. Like, guys, that is...
It's a big pay-per-view this month, so that's a 4 hour pay-per-view. That's 12 hours. Oh, fucking work.
That's too much, right? It really is. So, that's what I was saying with that. But yeah, I thought that... I think this Raw, going back to this Raw, I think this showed a lot that WWE are struggling on these mid-monthers. They've had 6 or 7 weeks of a build-up to Royal Rumble because they had their pay-per-view so early in December for the Christmas stuff, right? So they've had like a very long time to build up this show, 3 hours over the course of that time. You could tell they're struggling to fill that time. They really are. They just don't quite know what to do with the time that they have. And that means that a lot of their... I'm not even talking about mid-carders, I'm talking about very low-carders like Titus O'Neil and Stardust. They're below mid-card, really, let's just be honest. And they're getting some TV time. That's what WWE's in this. A combination of having a lot of injuries and too much time is that they're giving us a lot of this very, people on the bottom of the rung, So that's the way about it. So a negative review for Raw this week. I was not a big fan, but still... it is a mid-monther, so I kind of expected it. WWE tends to lose their momentum. Maybe next week is the go-home show and Royal Rumble. Let's see what they can do, right? Last week we enjoyed it, so maybe next week it can be good. Is there anything else that you would like to say before we wrap up the show for another week there, Matt?
No, I've got nothing else left to add. If anyone finds Darren Young, tell him we care about him.
If anyone finds fucking Dean Ambrose, tell us where he went.
Oh yeah. Just point him in the right direction.
Yeah.
He was in the same... At least he was in the right building.
Yeah.
Like, main event walks past the screen. There he is. Oh, I've been looking all over for him.
It's just...
Stupid.
All right then, guys. If you did enjoy this episode, then obviously you can leave a like. You can leave any comments and questions in the comment section below. And you can also follow us on Twitter, which is our handle.
@TalkWrestlePod.
It is. And our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Let's Talk Wrestling Podcast. All that goodness is on the graphics in front of you right now, and also in the description, so you can't get away from it. It's right there. Go like our Facebook page. We're having a lot of fun there. We're having a lot of discussions. Then you can, I'll put it up once this episode goes up, who got the better Survivor Series team. See who our fans thought won. So, but apart from that, we hope you guys do have a great week. And we hope you subscribe to the channel as well. We've obviously was on our long road now, trying to get 1,000 subscribers. We're gradually getting there, making a good solid start, I will say. And apart from that, we hope you guys have a great week, and we'll catch you all next time.
We'll catch you soon.
All right then, bye bye. Blah blah blah. I'm testing because I am awesome.
I am testing because I am equally of awesome status.
No, you're inferior awesome.
I am equal awesome.
You are not.
I think so.
It's funny that you think that you are, but you're not.
But I am.